Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to start Ghost of Tsushima. Aeshmah, go ahead and take it away.
Hello everyone, I'm Aeshmah. I'm gonna be your runner for the next about 3.5 hours with the Ghost of Tsushima here. With me on comms I have...
Hi, I'm Emerald Alley.
That was fast. Alright, I think we had a donation incentive for the horse name, so if you want to go ahead and tell me what that was.
Yeah, so Nobu won that horse name.
Nobu, the trusty steed, won the bid war. Perfect. Alright, since we will be having about 3.5 hours with this one anyway, I think we just go ahead and start this one and talk during it. So let's get this show on the road then in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
We'll see about the good luck. I guess we'll just beat up some Mongols here. So, if any of you guys don't know the story of this game, I mean, you basically should because it's fucking phenomenal. Mongols invaded the Japanese island of Tsushima and basically killed off all the samurai protecting the island, and we are basically the only survivor of that massacre in the beginning. And we are, of course, planning some revenge here. We want to drive these Mongols off the island again, and the first step to doing that is saving our uncle, the lord of the island. So before we gotta do that though, we gotta gather some allies, so let's see how we can do that all in Act 1. Now for the category of this game, this will be the any percent New Game Plus lethal category. Lethal being the hardest difficulty the game has to offer, and basically what you can think about is that any hit that I will take will basically be a one-shot. So, I gotta be kinda careful about not getting hit during that run. Now, having said that, there are 3 main advantages running this game on New Game Plus compared to a new game run of this game. The first one being, we completely skipped the whole prologue of the game, all the tutorials, the story setup and whatnot. And in a speedrun setting, that already saves about 40 to 42 minutes. And, that's kind of nice time save that we get there just by playing a New Game Plus. The second advantage is we can skip all of the cutscenes. Now the cutscenes, we will also be only playing all the main story missions, of course, and the cutscenes take about 2 to 2.5, no, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes of cutscenes that we can just skip outright by being able to play on New Game Plus, which is another very nice time save. And then, of course, the third main advantage that we have playing on the New Game Plus save file compared to a new game file is that, of course, we can take over all of our armor, all of our upgrades and whatnot from our previous playthrough of the game here. And that saves even more time, as we will see in just a few minutes here.
Yeah, New Game Plus also unlocks further upgrade tiers for armor and weapons. I don't believe it does for consumables, but you don't bother with those at all anyway, I am pretty sure.
It does a bit. Like, you can start collecting even more bombs and stuff. So, like, I think the previous maximum upgrade was like 4 bombs or something, and now you can carry 5, something like that.
It's not supposed to be easy.
Yeah, the regular New Game full game run of this is basically twice as long as the NG Plus. So when they released, and when Sucker Punch released NG Plus, it was released post-launch. It basically turned this from a very awkward game to speedrun to one that's a bit on the long side, but certainly much more feasible.
Yeah, the previous category, the any percent new game category of the game, a run on that basically takes you about 7 hours or so, simply because you do not have the upgrades from a previous playthrough, of course, and you can't skip any of the cutscenes. So that's a lot of time that you, well, have to make up for.
Difficult to grind a run that long.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you have to watch all the cutscenes like every time. It's starting to be a bit of a bore after a while. But on the flip side, since you can skip the cutscenes, you get regular breaks during the run. And that, has its own advantages, I want to say, because after every act, there is like a longer cutscene that goes on for a couple minutes, and that's just like a nice bathroom break in between the run. But of course, we don't get that during a New Game Plus speedrun because we skip all the cutscenes.
Gotta go fast.
Exactly.
I love that mechanic there where you squeeze through a narrow opening, and love is kind of in quotation marks in that sentence, because this game released, what was it, 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after The Last of Us Part 2, which has that exact same mechanic, but uses a different button for it, so it's kind of a damn you muscle memory sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I also played The Last of Us 2 right before this, so I could definitely testament to that. Now in this section right here, we have a little bit of a flashback where we go around chasing a bear with our uncle, and normally we are supposed to follow this S shape through the forest here. But since we are speedrunners, we know where to go, even though it's this foggy, we could just cut straight across and save quite a bit of time finding this bear over here.
Look, Uncle.
Just a little bit of a speed tech going on here.
Nice and sneaky.
Exactly. Alright, and with that, we are coming to a nice technique that we found to go fast. I will not explain what is going on just yet. We will do that a little bit later when we see more of it, but just keep in mind what I just did here. And that is basically what is going to allow us to skip a lot of things during this run.
We'll be safe there. Are you with the Straw Hat Ronin?
Just real quick, I can't believe you killed a bear in Calithon. Come on, man, that's our mascot.
Technically, it probably was our uncle, so we can't be blamed for that.
I heard they were hunting Mongols in Tsitsa Prefecture.
I guess.
Nice way to rules earlier. We out of that one.
You know, you can't tell that we shot that arrow that killed it, so you know, it wasn't us. Probably. Eventually. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, we just finished our first main quest here. Now we rescued this Straw Hat Ronin. We actually went to this camp to try and rescue Yuna's brother, Yuna being the woman that we were with just now. But he wasn't here, so we rescued the other guy instead. So keep that in mind for now, as it will become important a little bit later though. However, we are now on our way to try and recruit our next ally, which will be Sensei Ishikawa. He is like this renowned archery master on the island of Tsushima. So let's see if we can kind of go ahead and enlist his aid. Now what you will see me do during a lot of these riding sessions is that I will go in a specific raid to try and grab a few fast travel points for later usage, like I will do in just a moment here. Once I've actually reorientated myself, because I went a little bit too far to the right, and that just kind of got me lost in the woods here. But if you just ride to this rock here, you will very briefly see that I unlocked a survivor camp that I can now use as a fast travel point, which will actually come in handy once we have finished the next quest, as I can then go back to that camp and start my adventure from there. But for now, we will just go to Sensei Ishikawa's dojo over here and knock on his door. Or slash it down, you know, whatever works. It's just common Japanese courtesy, I suppose.
Who else made it out of Komoda?
Yeah, if you don't know the game, first of all, shame on you, but if you don't know the game, you may notice that there's no mini-map as you traverse the world. You just kind of have to know where everything is. And you can go into the menus and like place a dot on the map and use the guiding wind to point you there, but in order to go fast, Aeshmah has to know exactly where he's going just on the basis of being there in the world. So even though there's not really too much like tech in this run, just knowing where you're going is really a sign of high skill.
And I messed this up. Wow. Okay. Game is having none of my shenanigans today, I suppose. But at least, you know, Sensei Ishikawa is with us immediately, so I guess that will help out a little bit. So, fun fact, I have never died to this encounter, so I guess that never happened before.
How many times have we heard that sentence this marathon?
I mean, you know, we set the magic words now, so I guess the run is marathon valid.
The run is blessed.
Yeah. So what is Ishikawa doing? So yeah, basically what happened there is I messed up our sneaky speed tech, and that is why I had to go ahead and fight this encounter normally. Excuse me. And that one Mongol was like really hot on my tail there. He definitely wanted to see me dead, and actually went through with it, because I was totally flabbergasted by me not assassinating the heck out of him. But I guess we recovered.
The attack was sudden.
But yeah, Sensei Ishikawa is actually looking for his missing student who has been kidnapped by some Mongols, as we learn taking a look at her camp here. So what we're gonna do now is we will go to the nearest fort and see if we can actually go ahead and still rescue her.
Why did the samurai fail?
Now this is actually the point in the game where you would get your bow. You don't have that from the beginning of the game. You actually get this during this quest. And Sensei Ishikawa, being the high and mighty archery sensei that he is, of course wants us to show to him that we can actually use this bow. So we get a little bit of a tutorial here.
He's a bit of a crabapple.
He definitely is. Like, he has no qualms about, you know, trying to put his quote-unquote student in his place.
It was made for me. It wasn't. So take good care of it. Let's go.
So, you know, if you have a knack for old and cranky characters, I guess Sensei Ishikawa is for you.
It is a good bow. Victory is won by warriors, not weapons.
Because he definitely thinks that he is the only one who can, you know, handle the situation here, I suppose. As is evident by their banter going down this road. And yeah, that is the fort where we presume that Sensei Ishikawa's student is being held prisoner. So, let's see. She's there.
This spot is perfect. I'll find a way in. Open.
One thing I really loved about this game, and you've already kind of seen a little bit of it in the speedrun, is that most missions have Jin with someone else, and whoever he's with kind of dictates what sort of mission it is. When you're with Ishikawa, obviously it's ranged focus. When you're with Yuna, it's stealth focus. When you're with Masako, she just likes to go in and slice dudes up. And yeah, it really ties the gameplay and narrative together.
Yeah, like if you even look at all the main quests, there are 24 main quests that we are going to do. And Jin will be only alone in about 3 of those. Technically 4 if you don't count Yuriko, but you know. But anyway, we are about to assault this fort here. I didn't get a single explosive arrow. Well, that is not good. And only 1 flaming arrow. It's also not nice, but I guess it is what it is. Now you saw me pick up all these arrows, and one thing that the difficulty modifier also does is it dictates what kind of drops you get. Like, the same amount of arrows would be lying around this place here. However, if you were to play on easy, you would get a lot more arrows out of every single pickup than you do on higher difficulties. So since I'm playing on lethal, the highest difficulty, I only get very few special arrows, like flaming arrows and explosive arrows. And basically the RNG like royally screwed me over right then and there. So we will have to account for that in the near future.
Get used to seeing things go boom, chat. That is the bread and butter of this run.
Also, at this point, we reload the checkpoint because we technically defeated all the Mongols inside of it. And reloading the checkpoint makes it so that Sensei Ishikawa instantly teleports to this place where we continue the story, because otherwise we would have to wait for him to casually walk up to this place, which of course would just cost us a lot of time. Now let's maybe talk about how we actually got through this encounter that we just did. Now, there is a mechanic in the game called Terror. And what Terror does is it makes an enemy instantly drop his weapon and leave the battlefield. And that makes it so that this enemy excuse me, counts as defeated in the sense of the battle mechanics. So what we are going to do in this speedrun is we are going to wear this ghost armor that I have on at the moment. Because it has a perk that whenever I kill an enemy, I have a 40% chance to terrify another. And then we go ahead and equip charms, which are passive bonuses to an armor, to the ghost armor that increases that percentile chance. So at the end of it, we have about a 90% chance whenever I kill one enemy to terrify another. So basically, you know, killing 2 Mongols with 1, so to speak. Because you kill one and you terrify another. And what we then do, we equip further charms that make it so when enemies catch on fire, they also have a chance to terrify even more enemies. And what that means is basically we want to go boom a lot of the time. So you will see a lot of explosions, a lot of fire arrows, a lot of explosive arrows, and a lot of bombs that I would just throw around in order to, you know, scare off as many Mongols as humanly possible, to make these encounters go as fast as we can.
Yeah, you wouldn't ordinarily get the ghost armor until about halfway through the game. It's pretty powerful.
Like, it doesn't help you in a straight-up one-on-one situation, as we will see a little bit later, but it is definitely the best armor to wear if you're going up against a lot of enemies at once, which will basically be most of the time during the run.
You mind if I ask a real quick question?
Sure.
I've never played this game before. I've never seen it in action. I know you can judge me later. You mentioned you're with a partner most of the game. Do you have to worry about them like dying at any point?
Yes, you actually do. Like, whenever you have a partner with you, you know, they count as your standard NPC ally, and they can be downed in battle. However, they won't instantly die. They will just be, you know, on the ground, crawling around, and you have to go and revive them in the span of like a minute or so before they die, which would then mean you would have to reload the checkpoint.
That is also scripted to happen at least once that I can think of.
Really? When?
Yeah, on the boat with Duzo.
Oh, yeah, right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I guess you're not fighting with him at that time, but you do have to revive him.
But yeah, other than that, we are just gonna go to the next main quest. We're just gonna, you know, have a nice little stroll around the countryside here. So if you have any donations to read, you can go ahead and do so now.
Yeah, I've got one from Skilly's 9009 where they donated $38. No message, but thank you very much for that. Don't forget, we do have a donation set in for the end of the run, whether we spare or kill the final boss. I know how, you know, marathon people are, it's always kill, but, you know, maybe let's save a life this time.
Do you actually have any donations for that already?
Yes we do. They are from Aeshmah, I think that's what it says. Normally, with a $5 donation, normally I would donate towards killing Lord Shimura, but since the beneficiary of this marathon is kind of against that, let's save him instead. This one's... And then there's another $35 one from him saying, just kidding, F him. So as of right now, killing him is winning with $35, sparing him is $5.
That's what I want to see. And here.
You might have noticed that little standoff prompt coming up at the bottom of the screen. If you trigger that, it starts this super cinematic, like, one-on-one moment where you just draw your sword and slice a guy down in one hit, and you can make it so that you can get, I believe it's up to 5 enemies at once doing that, one after another, and it's so cool, but it's also so slow. So, of course, you never do it in a speedrun.
We actually do it at 2 or 3 points, but there are ways to not having to do that, and it would be faster, but just for a little bit of a safety, I tend to do it because what actually happens during the standoff, you can regain a lot of your resolve. Now, resolve are these little yellow golden orbs that you can see in the lower left corner of the UI. And what those actually do is they allow you to do the special moves like what I'm doing right now, the Dance of Wrath, which basically, you know, allows you to kill 3 enemies really quickly. But they also allow you to revive yourself should you get down. And as I said earlier, since we are playing on lethal difficulty and basically any hit will instantly kill me, having that little bit of a safety cushion with being able to revive yourself is quite nice. So I will probably do the standoffs at specific strategic points simply to have enough resolve to go into big encounters coming up after that. So, you know, I may get a second chance if I need to.
I guess what I meant was you don't do them while wandering around.
Oh yeah, yeah, that for sure. That is just a total time waste for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a few points during the story where you are supposed to do them, and it just so happens that they are at really nice points in the run where you would need to refill your resolve anyway. But yeah, as we now learned here, the estate of Clan Adachi, where we were supposed to meet Lady Adachi, was attacked. Everybody seems to be dead, and we are just following these horse tracks that led away from the estate to see if we can maybe find some survivors. And as it turns out, yes, Lady Masako is still alive. However, all of her clan has been massacred, and she is now herself seeking revenge for the traitors that killed off her clan because it was not the Mongols.
This game has a really incredible voice cast. Masako is probably the best known performer in the cast, Lauren Tom. She's been in a lot of films and animation, but really everybody in the cast is amazing.
Also, all around, just very nice people to hang around with.
Yes, aren't they?
I've actually had the pleasure to have some of them commentate my previous speedruns. Now, sadly, they weren't available for this marathon right here, but because they had, you know, other obligations to fulfill. But they definitely, you know, support this cause that we are raising money for here. So, you know, people,
For sure.
a few dollars here or there definitely go a long way to help this, well, difficult situation. Let's just call it that. To maybe, hopefully, get resolved. Or at least support it more.
But it is my duty to punish them for it.
We got time for a quick donation?
Sure, go ahead.
I put $30 in, putting my money where my mouth is and sparing him, so it is now tied 35-35.
No! Don't do that. Don't. No, now we need somebody else to come in and put it towards kill again. Come on, people, you know you want to just see that guy getting offed, right? Right?
I am suck.
So just for clarification here, what I generally do during my runs is whenever I get a PB/world record, I will go ahead and kill the guy at the end of my runs, and if I don't, I will spare him. So, you know, we gotta kill him, right? We want to kill him. Definitely want to do that.
It suits you perfectly.
I spared him at the end of my first playthrough, but I do feel like thematically kill is the more fitting ending.
Same. That is exactly my sentiment right here. Even though I killed him the first time around. I don't know. It just... the blood rush got to me, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, story-wise, we just got the samurai armor, which is probably the first real armor that you were to get in the game. However, for a speedrun, it is basically useless to us because it only has defensive perks, like it will increase your max health, it will increase your defense, you know, nothing that makes us go fast. So we will just quickly go back and switch back to the ghost armor right here. And what happened else is that we get here to the Golden Temple to speak with this monk, Sogen, because Masako suspects that he was involved in the assassination of her clan. So we talked to him a little bit and told him, hey, you know, Lady Masako is still alive, and now he suspiciously leaves the temple, and we now have to quote-unquote follow him back to his hideout. However, he will only ever take the same route out of the temple and to this thieves den, we will trail him, so we don't actually have to follow him because we know where he will go. However, the game won't let us, you know, get away from him too far, so we have to stay in a certain range to him, because as you can see with these countdowns going down on my screen right now, if those were to reach 0, I would get a game over and have to reload the checkpoint, and of course I don't want to do that because I would have to do this whole section over. But what we will do is we will follow this trail right here to about where the timers would start acting up,
He's moving
so
again.
we can stay the maximum distance ahead of him. And we will just, you know, egg him on a little bit, so to speak, without losing him, until he just gets about to this rock over there, roundabout. And once he does... So a little bit more right here, okay. And now we'll just hightail it to the next plot trigger. Because as long as we get there before the timer actually runs out, the story will progress normally. Even though Sogen is actually not there. So let's, yeah.
Let's get closer.
I could have gone a little bit sooner. But it works out, and our reward for that is this conversation between the thieves and Sogen, even though Sogen is nowhere near close where we actually are at the moment.
Keep your voice down.
I guess he just has learned the ways of telepathy or whatever that allows him to communicate with these guys. But yeah, this is now the first standoff that Ali alluded to earlier. So let me see if I can get this. As you can
It's so
already see,
cinematic.
this takes quite a lot of time to get through, even though we only kill 3 enemies, but it completely fills my resolve gauge, and that is basically all that we want to get out of that anyway.
So cinematic and just really fun to do too.
It is. That should take care of everybody around here. It does. And that is that encounter done.
Destroyed clan other.
This
Yeah, they are
cutscene
actually-
is while we actually have a little bit of a nickname for Lady Masako right here, because what happens is we now finally cornered Sogen. He starts talking, you know, basically foul-mouthing Lady Masako and her clan, and she just snaps and hacks the guy to pieces, so to speak, and that is why we started calling her Lady Massacre.
It's fitting.
Find
It
anything?
is. Or Murder Granny, if that is more up your alley. But yeah, that resolves the tale of Lady Masako. Now, of course, you know, her quest line has just started. We only have to do the first part during the main quest. You could go ahead and find her all over the island now to try and find the other conspirators against her clan and whatnot. But since this is a speedrun, we will basically do none of that.
Yeah, in one of her side missions, her character quest path missions, you actually end up fighting her, which is kind of crazy. It was actually shown in some of the trailers for this game before it came out, so I thought she was an enemy. And when I first encountered her in
Yeah.
the game, I was like, what?
I remembered that particular scene from the trailers, but I didn't remember that it was her. It was only when that, you know, fight scene came up later, I was like, oh yeah, that was from the trailers, right? But yeah, you know, stuff like that just instantly makes you question the intentions of certain characters in a game when you have that knowledge from footage before the game even released. So I guess that was a really nice, well, you know, trick on our minds, so to speak. But yeah, other than that, we will just, you know, make our fastest way over to the next main quest. So this is more writing, so you have more time for donation reading, if you please.
Well, I think you'll be happy with this next donation. G Joey Joe donated $5. Just saying, F him. So now killing him is ahead by $5.
Yes! Do it!
Come on, chat. Let's make this a big bid war. Let's spare him. I gotta be the voice of reason here, I guess.
Well, because I'm not gonna be it. Or sure not.
It was recently announced that they're going to be making a movie based on this game, and
Oh,
I think it
yes.
has a really good chance to be that rare video game movie that isn't terrible, because the game itself is so influenced by old school samurai cinema that it's like kind of a recycling effect that, you know, it's a cinematic game and now they're going to make a cinematic experience out of the game.
I mean, they even went so far ahead and included a Kurosawa mode in the options of the game that turns everything black and white with this film grain filter over it to make it actually look like a Kurosawa movie, like, you know, oh god,
It
Ran
forces the
and
Japanese
whatever.
voice acting too, right?
Come again?
The Kurosawa mode forces Japanese voice acting.
Yes, it does. Exactly. So it's really like, you know, this popcorn samurai movie feel they get out of it. Interesting fact though, Kurosawa mod also makes the game slightly harder, simply because all the tells for if an enemy is doing a
Are color-based.
unparryable or undodgeable attack, not undodgeable, unblockable attack, those are color coded. However, if you're playing in Kurosawa mode, well, you don't see any colors because it's on black and white, so you have to know what they're doing. And it's even more funny because John Shepard, one of the early speedrunners of the game, started playing the game in Kurosawa mode, and it took him quite a while to actually play the game in color, so he had no idea from the get-go that those attacks were actually color-coded. And it basically blew his mind when he started playing the game in color and actually noticing that and seeing that the game is actually a little bit easier than he was used to. Also, shoutouts to John, because he and Remetsu did the first routing notes for the game back when there actually was no New Game Plus, so they actually routed out all this 7-hour run of a New Game save file, which basically this New Game Plus route is based off of still.
Yeah, they were definitely the OGs.
Yes, for sure. I mean, John, in his time, he did like more than 100 runs of the Act 1 category. So, yeah. Kudos to him. I don't think I still have that many runs under my wing.
When we get close to the town, you can hide in the cart with the sucker.
The Mongols won't search it?
Not anymore.
So this is another interesting little thing coming up here. You are supposed to follow your allies a little bit along this path here and have all of them, you know, have a little conversation during that time. And how the game enforces you to do that is you can't leave your allies behind. Like we shadowed Sogen just a few minutes ago, we have to stay in a certain range to them. Otherwise, you know, countdown would start down, and if the countdown reaches 0, we would have to reload checkpoint again. However, if we just skirt around the edge of this and just keep doing it, Kenji, our ally here, is very adamant that a few people fought back. Like, what did they do, Kenji? There we go. And that's like an interesting fact because this only happens for Kenji. Like if I were to let the conversation play out a little bit more so that Jin and or Yuna would start speaking, and I would then go out of range, it would actually skip the dialogue and it would go back to Kenji's next line. And if I would then go out of range again, Kenji's voice line would start repeating again. So it's really only Kenji's dialogue that is repeatable like that. Also, this is the only break that we get during this 3.5-hour run, so, you know, take the time to stretch a little bit, make yourself comfortable, grab a glass of water or whatever.
Just a little farther. What was all that screaming?
Doesn't matter, keep it down.
Is that what
You mind if I use this time just to give some reminders on what's going on?
Sure, go ahead.
know that?
Well, just a reminder, this is Calithon Stand Strong. We are here raising funds for Stop AAPI Hate, an organization centered around addressing hatred and violence against people in the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities. Their approach recognizes that in order to effectively address anti-Asian racism, we must work to end all forms of structural racism leveled at Black, Indigenous, and other communities of color. Besides the spare kill donation that we've been fighting about for this run, we do have some other donation incentives coming up, like the Zombies Name Ain't My Neighbor character choice, with Z currently winning that one. We are trying to have Yakuza... wow. Yakuza Kiwami 2 increased difficulty to legendary.
I would take a Yakuza. You know, a nice little rest.
Yeah, I know.
Between.
That's, put a
Sounds
Yakuza
nice.
on the back of this horse. And various other donations. Definitely, donate. Let's see how high we can get it. Let's see if we can get over $5,000 by the end of this run. We got plenty of time.
That would be fantastic.
I'll meet you at the crossroads behind town.
We need a vantage point to scout ahead.
Alright, so we now made it into Azamo Bay. Now, Azamo Bay is like the next point of contention where we suppose that Taka, Yuna's brother, is being held prisoner. So let's see if we actually have some luck around in this installment of the Mongol invasion here. So we do have to follow this slaver around, and he is not behaving. So I quickly have to go ahead and reload this checkpoint and do that again. Because this guy can be a little bit problematic in the thing that if you activate the point where you start looking at him a little bit too late, he will actually just endlessly cycle between these three slaves that he's looking at. And if he does that, you of course just have to go ahead and reload the checkpoint. There is very little you can do about that, so just gotta bite the bullet here and reload that real quickly. And now we just have this, basically an auto-scroller going on where we follow this guy around town. So, we'll just go ahead, watch some events unfold here. But I guess I can take this time to, prime you guys on a technique that we have been using earlier. So if you remember in the beginning of the run, I just basically rolled through a whole Mongol encampment without any one of the guards there taking note of me. Now, what we do there is, as long as you haven't been detected by any of the enemies, the detection being denoted by these white bars appearing on the screen, and you crouch down and you roll, and you just keep on rolling. No enemy in the game will ever notice you, for whatever reason. We don't exactly know why that happens. We just thinking that maybe the roll itself preserves your detection status. And so if you have not been detected yet, you won't be detected while you are rolling. And yeah. That basically allows us to skip a whole lot of the game's forced stealth sections, as we will just roll through all of them. Now do keep in mind, it's best if you crouch down before you start your roll, because that will make it a little bit easier to do it, because if you start the roll while you are standing up, there is still a slight chance that you may get detected while you're rolling. So just crouch down, start rolling while you are absolutely undetected, and just keep on rolling, guys. Because, they don't see you rolling, they don't hate them. Simple as that.
I made an early 2000s rock reference during setup, so let me just say, keep rolling, 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 rolling.
I'm gonna be honest, that's where my brain also went. I was gonna do the exact same thing.
Nice. We are all old here. Perfect. So, the thing why I told you guys about this technique is it will come up here in just a second once these guys have finished their conversation, so you actually know what's gonna happen here, because once they have finished the conversation, I will just... basically, we are supposed to sneak through this market full of Mongols to follow the slaver around even more, but yeah, we're not doing that. We're just gonna roll through all these guys here, so... Hello! How you guys doing? How's life? What are you up to? And then we will just wait for Jin to start talking again. And we will reload the checkpoint. And what that does is, once Jin starts talking, a new checkpoint gets set where we just were. And by reloading that, the slaver will have magically teleported all the way over here, so we don't have to wait for him to basically walk around this big bonfire back there. Which saves, I don't know, 30 seconds, something like that. But yeah, we finally find Taka. So let's rescue that dude finally. Poor dude. Had to endure the Mongol invasion for all of, I don't know, 38 minutes. How dare we?
There's a gate nearby. And that's where we break out.
But yeah, that rolling technique, the community has come up with 2 names. One is the Japanese roly-poly ghost, and we basically did that so we can make a JRPG joke inside this game. And the other one is the tumbleweed samurai, which, you know, flows off the tongue a little bit nicer, so most of the times we go with that. So if you hear me talk about the tumbleweed samurai, now you know what it is for.
Those are both awful, and I love them both.
Well, I mean, you can't expect speedrunners to come up with good names now, can you? I mean, John just wanted to call it roll skip, but that just doesn't fly with me, you know? Like, that is why I came up with the JRPG, and then Wicked came up with the tumbleweed samurai, so it's a little bit of a point of contention between us. Anyway, you might actually see me do a little bit of a dodge during my running here, and that is because Jin actually has an invisible stamina bar. So whenever you see him drop his head, you know that he is about to run out of stamina. And what you then do is you just do a little bit of a dodge, like this, and this will instantly replenish all of your stamina. Now, you know, don't try this in real life, it probably won't work, but in this game it does, so we will do it.
You made it!
Were you followed?
But,
Yeah, rolling
you know,
through hostile areas probably doesn't work in real life either.
Yeah.
We should go.
But just in case any, you know, From Software developers see this, you know, it would be really nice if in the next Dark Souls game, or I guess Elden Ring at this point, you know, if that would work, that would be fantastic. Anyway, we have another long of these walkie-talkie sections coming up where all of our characters are gonna have a long talk while we ride up this hill here. However, during these sections, all of your movement options are slowed down, so the characters actually can have this conversation, except your jump. So whenever one of these walkie-talkie sections comes along, what we will do is we'll just jump along the path like a madman in order to, you know, progress a little bit faster.
I owe Yuna my life.
So once we are at the crest, we'll wait for them to dismount. And then we'll just walk over to this tree here, and that is another quest completed.
Komatsu is just over that ridge.
They have a fort.
So we now have recruited Yuna and her brother, we have recruited Sensei Ishikawa and Lady Masako. That is all good and well, but we still need a little bit more manpower. And if you remember, during the very first quest, we rescued this Strawhead Ronin. And what he told us is that more of the Strawhead Ronin are hiding out in the Kishi grasslands. Now, the Strawhead Ronin are basically a group of mercenaries. And so we will have a look around the Kishi grasslands and see if we can find these mercenaries and recruit them for our cause. Because, you know, they can't be happy that the Mongols have invaded Tsushima. For sure not. So maybe we can find some allies here. Oh, I am actually being shot at. Now that is something that you have to always keep an eye out for. Like, there are a lot of Mongol patrols walking around, well, the countryside basically. And it is random where and when they spawn. So it can very well happen that you run into a patrol that you have to then circumvent. And that can just, you know, cause you a little bit of a time loss here and there, as you have to maneuver out of your route a little bit to be able to circumvent them. And there's basically nothing you can do about that, you just have to bite the bullet and take that little bit of a time loss. Should never be too much, but if a patrol spawns, you know, at a very unpleasant location,
Trying to get away from his attackers.
nothing you can do about it. That's just RNG. But yeah, we meet Ryuzo. Ryuzo is actually a childhood friend from Jin. He is the new leader of the Strawhead Ronin. So we will now fight all of these Mongols together. And while I will be taking down about 20 of them or so, let's hope that Ryuzo actually manages to kill the one that I'll leave for him.
Yeah, you may have noticed in the standoff there that the enemy just kind of juking and jiving, trying to get Aeshmah to draw his sword and try to attack first. If you bite when he isn't actually drawing his sword and coming out, he will hit you and do massive damage, possibly even kill you on this difficulty.
They can't kill you, but they will basically drop you down to 1 HP.
Gotcha.
Have you considered my offer?
So yeah, Ryuzo actually managed to kill off his one guy, that is great, while I took care of all the rest of them. But Ryuzo actually sometimes manages to not be able to kill that one guy, and then you actually have to go back and help him, and that is just a definite time loss. It's also kind of funny, because the thing between Ryuzo and Jin is that Ryuzo is basically salty at Jin because Jin beat him at a tournament a couple years ago, which is why he wasn't able to become a samurai and is now a mercenary.
Might have something we can salvage.
As you will learn a little bit more about during their conversations, as Ryuzo will follow us for quite a while now. But yeah, I mean, that one battle should basically tell you all about why Jin is the better fighter than Ryuzo, right? I mean, it's just obvious.
I meant what I said before. Help free Lord Shimura.
I do think Ryuzo is a good and, like, complicated, nuanced character. I think he was really well written.
Oh, that for sure. It's just that, you know, he's just perpetually hungry. Like, I don't know, man. Just give the guy a burger, please. Somebody, you know, maybe donate a few dollars so Ryuzo can have a burger. Can anybody do that?
Every $5 you send, Ryuzo will get one burger.
Yeah. Because that is actually the whole plot point with Ryuzo here. Like, he is the new leader of the Straw Hat Ronin, and the Straw Hat Ronin are starving. And he's like desperately trying to find food for them. And he basically tells us, yeah, we might join you, but only if we have food. So the next two quests are all about trying to get food for Ryuzo. So, you know, if anybody here could spare a few dollars for Ryuzo and his buddies to get some burgers, that would be great. It would be a lot of time saved, right just now.
Ben, this is my old...
I mean, it's probably hard to find a McDonald's or something in 18th century Tsushima, but we'll manage something.
Look, we're just gonna need to use that money to make a time machine, and then we can send them back future McDonald's.
Also not a bad idea. Just means that you would probably have to donate a few more dollars, though. Hint, hint.
Better not have lice.
Yeah, please donate to our time machine fund so we can feed them.
Can you imagine? I mean, that would probably be the speedrunner marathon, right? Getting donations for a time machine.
I don't actually wear glasses, but if I did, I would push them up my nose. Actually, 13th century.
Whatever. But yeah, we got yet a new armor, and again, we will just immediately switch back to the ghost armor, because even though the Ronin attire is not as bad as the samurai armor when it comes to offensive perks, it's still just not nearly as good as the ghost armor when it comes to terrorizing your enemies. Also, this is one of the patrols that I spoke about just a little bit earlier, which is a very unlucky spawn because it's just like sitting square in the path that you want to take, so I have to skirt around them just a little bit, which, you know, costs me a couple seconds here and there, I suppose. Nothing too major. I mean, at least I didn't get shot down from my horse, which would be a bit of a disaster there, but still. You want to stay on your horse, you want to keep riding to the next quest objective, and not having to deal with the Mongols along the way. Because what just happens is, if they shoot you down from your horse, you are in combat, and you can't call your horse, and you can't even mount your horse, even if it's still there. So you have to run away from the encounter, which can take quite a while. And then you have to call your horse again and start riding again, and then can just lose you, I don't know, a minute or so? Something like that. It's ridiculous. So yeah, you do not want to get shot down from your horse.
Come on. A lot of men inside.
Do we get time for a quick donation?
Go ahead.
Top of the tower.
We've got $5 from Rill. Please give the burgers to the guy. Thank you for feeding him. But also, they put $5 towards sparing Lord Sheehan.
Oh
So
no!
now we're tied again.
Watch the tower.
Don't do
Shimura, sorry, I
that.
said Sheehan.
Don't put it towards spare. Put it towards kill. That's the only ending we want to see. So yeah, the plan here is that this is another Mongol camp that supposedly has food. So let's see if we can go ahead and find Ryuzo a burger here. So that the dude might finally join our cause for now. So we will go ahead, disable their alarm system, and then light this lighthouse to signal Ryuzo and his men to attack. And then we have a little bit of a brawl here. So what we will do is we will throw a bomb. We'll throw a bomb into the thick of it. Assassinate this dude. Go up here. Throw another bomb if we need to, or not. Because Jin is really iffy on his sword throws for whatever reason.
And whenever I get to the lighthouse like that, I want to just, like, leap off of it, but then you have to remember, it's not actually an Assassin's Creed game, even if it plays a lot like one.
Yep, I mean, this is basically, you know, the Assassin's Creed Japan game that we never got, in a way. Yo, Ryuzo, go to your spot, please. Well, that was a little bit of an iffy encounter there, to be sure, because for some reason Jin just didn't want to throw the bombs that I told him to throw. I guess I left the button a little bit too early. But how a lot of these fights would actually play out is that I will try and throw as many bombs and explosive arrows as possible to get rid of as many enemies as possible. However, as I said before, yes, we do have a chance to terrify other enemies. However, it will never reach 100%. So those last 10% can just screw me over in a way that there will always be a few enemies left standing after I have, you know, thrown the bombs, shot the explosive arrows. And I then have to go ahead and find these last few enemies that I still have to kill in this whole skirmish, which can be a little bit challenging depending on how many enemies are still left. And that again can just start losing you a little bit of time here and there. You just have to quickly, you know, survey your surroundings and try to find these last few enemies. And I didn't do exactly a great job at that during the last battle, so I probably lost a little bit of time there. But yeah, this is another point where you are supposed to sneak through these Mongols so you don't get spotted and go to this little boat to get out to the ships. However, if you just go here and lay down a smoke bomb, this will instantly take you out of battle, so you can actually interact with the trigger on the boat there, so you can row out to the ships. And that is actually something that you will see a lot of later on in the game, where we will use and abuse the smoke bombs to take us out of combat to be able to interact with stuff that we shouldn't normally be able to interact with.
No luck. You should have told me earlier. Life took us in different directions. Anyway, it was a long time ago.
So yeah, we didn't find any food at the lighthouse, so we are now on this ship and see if we can find some food here.
Hear that? Sounds like 4 or 5 guys.
No way around. Surprise them.
So we'll wait for Yuzo to open the door. Count down to 3. So 1, 2, 3. Throw the bomb. And that should get rid of all of these guys here. Awesome.
More Mongols. Take them.
We'll take cover here, wait for the reinforcements to arrive, and throw another bomb.
Sometimes I just love video game logic. The bomb somehow knows not to harm Yuzo.
Yeah. Well, they have friend-foe recognition built into them. It's pretty nice.
I'm not gonna lie, I expected less bomb and more sword for this game.
Nope. This is all explosives. We will be channeling our inner Michael Bay as hard as we can.
Yeah. That just goes to show that you Maybe haven't seen this run before because it's a lot of boom booms.
Won't win.
Now, this is actually the difference between a new game and a new game plus run of this game, because, you know, in new game plus, as I explained earlier, we have access to all of our armors and our upgrades and all of that stuff. But if you were to play from a fresh save file, you know, a new game speedrun of this game, not only are you not able to skip the cutscenes, but of course you wouldn't have all, you know, the armors and your upgrades and stuff like that. So a new game speedrun of this game actually heavily relies on, well, sword fighting, because you don't have access to your bombs and whatnot until way into the game, because you have to unlock them over the course of the game. So you would actually see a lot of sword fighting in a new game speedrun of this game. However, you know, it would take about 7 hours to go through, so we would all be here for quite a while if that were the case. But that's also, you know, a bit of the interesting thing, because it makes a new game and the new game plus run of this game like wholly different. Like, yeah, it's a completely different beast that you have to tackle. But even though still, if you think that neither a 7-hour run nor a 3.5-hour run is exactly something that you would like to run, we actually have other categories. Most importantly, the Act 1 any % category, and what that basically is you just run Act 1 of the game and that's it. And in a speedrun setting in New Game Plus, that only takes you about 1.5 hours. Or in a new game speedrun about, you know, 3 hours or so. So, you know, if you still want to speedrun this game but don't think you have enough time to do the full clear, just maybe start trying the Act 1 category. Maybe that is something that you would like to join.
Fighting ahead.
Yeah, it's a pity the other acts you can't really start on them, because Act 3 especially is the most inherently like fast-paced and yeah, just quick to get through. Don't know what else I was trying to say there.
Act 3 is the shortest acts out of all of them. Now the game has three acts, and Act 1 usually takes you, like I just said, about 1.5 hours on New Game Plus, whereas Act 3 only takes about 40 minutes or so.
You killed all these men by yourself?
Maybe 45.
Good work.
I've had some practice.
That actually reminds me of something I wanted to ask. You're specifically playing on PS4 Pro, right?
Yes.
They'll have to do.
Are load times significantly faster on Pro versus vanilla PS4?
They are. Like, we haven't timed it completely, so I can't tell you exact numbers, but what we have timed is the difference between a PlayStation 4 Pro with an SSD and a PlayStation 5, because obviously you can also play the game on PlayStation 5 now. And in that comparison, the PlayStation 5 still is about 25% faster when it comes to load times. So if you were to have a 4-second load time on the PlayStation 4 Pro with an SSD, you would only have a 3-second load time on the PlayStation 5. And it's probably a bit more severe compared to a vanilla PlayStation 4, but only very few people, I think only one of us actually runs the game on a vanilla PlayStation 4. And yeah, the poor guy struggles a little bit trying to keep up, but he is steadily improving. But yes, hardware definitely factors in when it comes to this one.
Yeah, there aren't all that many runners of this game all told, so we haven't really separated it on the leaderboard. If there were more, we probably would. We do have it to show whether you have normal PS4, PS4 Pro, PS5, regular hard drive, SSD. That all shows, it's just not separated.
Yeah. I mean, having said that, it is a very small community, but a tightly knit community in a way. So, you know, if you think that that is something for you, go ahead, go to speedrun.com and have a look at the leaderboards, join the Discord, and maybe start running this game. Because it is fun.
That's one of the things I really like about marathons. I was watching Calithon 2, the last live event, and somebody ran a hat in time, and it made me go, I want to run a hat in time. And stuff like that is kind of what I hope to take out of marathons, is getting more people into the hobby, more people actually running games like this.
I mean, it's also the thing, like, you may see games that you haven't seen before, like, at all, you don't know anything about, or even games that you don't particularly like, but you kind of like the speedrun of it, and just seeing that, you know, might make you interested in it in the first place.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I've never seen a run at a marathon and thought I want to speedrun that game. I have quite a few times seen a run at a marathon and thought I'd like to play that game.
Yeah, but, you know, playing gets you into speedrunning in a way.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it's possible, yeah.
If you like the mechanics and whatnot.
Yukio! He saved us, Taka!
Oh god. I am not doing good on arrows. Like, the game royally screws me all with my pickups today. So I guess I will have to start improvising in a little bit here. Because I don't have a single explosive arrow left, and I only have one fire arrow that I will have to use in just a moment. Ooh. Game, be nice. Please.
Jin, over here.
Yeah, I don't have to talk to you, Yuna. So, sort of.
We don't know any samurai.
We'll have to take care of all of you, though.
They've gone. Please, let us go. Please.
Oh, that's cool.
You say
Never seen that guy come so close to the hostages here that I have to save. That was a nice time save, actually.
Everyone stay close to me.
The time save, which I will probably lose in the next encounter because I don't have any explosive arrows anymore.
Where did he come from? It's a long story.
the way he killed them. He's not human.
Maybe you're
But yeah, story-wise, we are now in the town of Komatsu Forge. Komatsu Forge being named after the forge in the town. And Jin basically tells the guys, you know, we are not gonna run anymore. We are gonna make a stand in this town and defend it against the Mongols. So we went ahead and got all of the people from the village that were still around into the forge, and we now will have a little bit of a big standoff against the invading Mongol forces.
Hey,
Coming
real
to
quick,
take over the tank.
Skilly's has used their 2,500 Calithon points to have you stretch, so need to stretch a little bit.
Alright, I will do that after the next fight. I guess that is in order. But yeah, this is a bit of a big one. So let's see if we can hopefully make this right.
Pretty sure there was a hydrate a little while ago too, so you're keeping up with that one too.
Woohoo!
Oh yeah, that was me. I wanted to use the hydrate.
Oh, okay.
So the nice thing about this fight is that all of the enemy spawns are set in place, like they will always come from the same direction. So you just have to be a little bit quick in order to get to them. And normally I would shoot an explosive arrow at these archers back there, so I don't actually have to go ahead and kill them, but since I don't have any anymore, I guess I will have to just hit them with my sword a little bit, you know, with the pointy end of that stick here. Should still be good though. Throw a bomb at these guys. Now we only have to take care of the Mongol warlord that is coming from up there. Okay. Down, so the only one left is you. Or not, and that is that. Okay. Stretch! Ah! That wasn't too bad. If only I had that one explosive arrow. Oh well. Anyway, we have liberated the town of Komatsu Forge, so that will allow Taka to actually forge us something that will allow us to infiltrate Castle Kaneda, where our uncle is being held prisoner. Now, if you remember, I said at the beginning of the run, the first goal of Act 1 is to go ahead and rescue our uncle. And in order for us to rescue him, we need something to infiltrate the castle and of course some allies. Now, we've basically dealt with the ally front, but we still needed this particular tool. that Taka should create for us. So let's
Taka's
see if we
sweating
can
like a
actually
jump
go
of
ahead and
adrenaline.
get that now.
He doesn't want to let you down.
Let's see how it's coming along.
If you would accompany me,
You're looking
Yuna,
for
thank
warriors
you.
to help save your uncle. Any luck?
Now, the thing
So,
that makes the first act of the game also the most technical in a way is that you basically never see me buy anything. You know, I did that one shopping trip after the Tale of Sensei Ishikawa, like, 45 minutes or so ago at this point. And since then, I never went and bought anything else. And that is simply because all the merchants in Act 1 are like really out of your way. Like, it would be a huge time loss to go to any merchant and stock up on arrows and bombs and whatnot. However, luckily, starting from Act 2 onwards, we will basically be able to go ahead and just buy out every merchant that we come across for bombs and arrows and whatnot. So, you know, things will start to get a little bit easier, I want to say, starting from Act 2. But, of course, the encounters themselves will get harder. So, you know, it kind of balances out in a way. Anyway, here's Ryuzo again. Now, at the end of his second quest story on the boat, we didn't actually find any food again, but what we did find was some war plants that showed supply lines that Ryuzo then wanted to go ahead and raid to hopefully get some food there. However, as it turns out, those supply lines were very well guarded, and now half of his men have been taken captive, and he wants us to help him out yet again. But since we are such a good friend to him, well, we can't say no, because the story won't let us do so, so I guess we go ahead and try to rescue his buddies now.
I'm surprised the Mongols allowed
He's so needy.
He definitely is. You know, it's food, it's friends, it's duels, it's... ah, God. It's like a never-ending string of necessities that Ryuzo wants from us.
We never talked about it.
Let's just make him a burger friend and we'll be all set.
Yeah, speaking of burgers, this is another one of these walkie-talkie sections, so you have any donation street or anything to plug, go ahead.
Unfortunately, nothing new. No new donation, so our kill spare Shimura is still tied. Come on, chat. We need this. We need to hash this out. Either I'm gonna win or he's gonna win. Come on, vote for what you truly desire.
You should have come to me. I would have hired you. Because no one else would?
Well, that's actually an interesting point. What do we do if it stays tied?
It's a good question.
Because, just for reference, that choice is the very last input in the game. So I can't call time unless we have a tiebreaker. Or a time breaker in this case.
We might just be stuck here forever.
So basically we cannot progress the marathon if we don't get a tiebreaker. So, you know, guys, get to donating. So here we will meet up with the rest of Ryuzo's men that have not been captured yet and see if we can come up with a plan to rescue the other half.
And they're not coming back. Cowards! It'll be dark soon.
So this is some really particular movement from Ryuzo over here, like he turns to the right and then to the right again, so it's basically made a full circle. Nobody knows why he does that, but you have to actually wait for him to do that, because if you start riding before he does it, you will basically leave your allies behind and you have to go back and get them once more. Which is actually kind of interesting, because whenever you are supposed to walk with your allies, we've seen that before with Kenji and Yuna, and you leave that range, you actually your allies will actually stop dead in their tracks and will basically stop moving until you are back in range of them again. So if you just go too fast, you will leave your allies behind, then you have to go back and get them, which will actually lose your time. So in essence, you will lose time if you go too fast in this game, which is kind of interesting.
I have something to help me. I'll free you.
Yeah, obviously the game, what the game wants you to do is keep having that conversation, but it gives the effect of like you're just directly in front of them on a clear straightaway, and it seems like they've lost sight of you or something. It's kind of bizarre.
So you want to go fast, but not too fast. But yeah,
patience, difficult skill for a speedrunner.
It definitely is. So this is basically the tutorial mission for this iron hook that we got from Taka just a moment ago. And it basically allows us to do all these kind of swinging moves and whatnot and crawl up rock cliffs and whatever else.
Hardcore parkour.
Yep. So we will use this passageway here to get into Fort Yatate, where we use those mana held captive from the back. And then maybe go ahead and crush the Mongols between us. Just a little bit more here, and then we are into the camp, or the fort rather.
Need to find those men.
So let's clean house.
Sounds like they're caged.
It's another one of those video game logic things. Who tied those red bows around the branches you can swing on?
Good question. Next question. I mean, as long as it works, I don't particularly care,
I'm
to
not
be
saying
honest.
it's a problem. It's just something I noticed because I'm a total doofus that way.
But it's a legitimate question.
Like the torchlights in a dungeon, somebody went ahead of you to light all of them.
There's one thing I like about FromSoft games, because I'm just watching you play this. I love how weighty the characters feel. Like, I can tell just from watching him that there is a lot of weight in his movements. How fun is he to control, just in general, would you say?
Come again?
I was asking how, like, because I'm talking about how weighty he is. How fun would you say he is to control?
A lot, actually. Like, I think it's, since you brought Dark Souls into the mix, I think it's a nice mix between something like Dark Souls and the Assassin's Creed games. You know, like in the Assassin's Creed games, you have obviously all this magnetizing to be able to vault over things and stuff like that you don't need to do in a game like Dark Souls. And I think they struck a good balance between that, so you don't get magnetized or stuck to too many corners and whatnot, but enough that it actually aids you in your movement. So, but yeah, if you've played any of the Dark Souls games, I think you will be right at home playing this one.
I remember I played a session of this game once after having played Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. I actually run it for a little while. And in that game, you can not exactly run up walls, but scale the sides of buildings much taller than it looks like you can, and I kept expecting to do that in this game. Just jump anywhere, when really you can only do that in specific points in this game. Climb to the top of buildings.
I need to meet you now.
I think like the gameplay is one of the driving forces behind this game and the speedrun itself, because it's just like a hell of a lot of fun to play and run around. Like, they did a really good job of making that just feel good in a way. Like, also the sword combat and whatnot, it's like just, it feels satisfying to do. Like, sadly we don't do a lot of sword fighting in this category, but if you do, you know, the new game speedrun, you do a hell of a lot of that, and it's just so fun to do. Like, you would see more of it if we would actually run any of the multiplayer categories, because the game also features a multiplayer mode, since I think that they patched that in October or something. The game originally came out in July. And that also is like just a lot of fun to play. However, it is, again, a whole different beast than this particular speedrun, because all of the multiplayer missions in a speedrun only take between 5 to 10 minutes. So once again, if you're looking for a shorter speedrun to learn, maybe try out those. That are really short and concise, however they have quite a bit of RNG attached to them.
Also worth mentioning, and people in the community had to tell me this, the multiplayer missions can all be played solo too.
Yes, they can. However, they are not exactly scaled for single players, so they're actually harder when you're playing them alone.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but some people like me just think other people are icky and don't want to play with them.
Good speech.
Fair enough.
This will work.
It has to.
The game is
Looks like you can
multiplayer?
climb up here.
It does. It was patched in after launch about the same time as NG+, a little before NG+.
Yeah, it was the same patch, I think.
Was it the very same? Okay, it
I
might have
think
been.
so.
Yeah, it didn't at launch, but it was added like as a free title update, which was kind of massive. And we've got the multiplayer is the Legends mode, they call it, is very individual mission focused. So that's what our ILs on the speedrun.com leaderboard are the Legends individual missions, and we also have categories for, we call it full story, just doing them all one after another. And they're probably honestly about as active, the ILs more so, than the full game run.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, they are really short missions, so you can just sit down for 5 to 10 minutes, get that mission done, and go to the next one. Or do something else if you're so inclined. Not a lot of time investment needed there. A lot of Mongols running for their little lives.
I mean, you're setting their friends on fire. I'd be scared too.
Gates guarded.
Honestly, fair.
Did that bomb hit? Yeah, barely.
See if your straw hat friends were helping.
But yeah, actually, story-wise, this is the last mission of Act 1. We are now assaulting Castle Kaneda, where we will try and rescue our uncle. And everybody has gathered except Ryuzo and his straw hats. So even though, you know, we did go to massive lengths to try and find food for Ryuzo, he's actually not here.
After all those burgers we got him.
Yeah. Like, what the hell, Ryuzo? We tried our best here.
How could you use Shina's help?
Alright, gotta concentrate on this fight a little bit, because I need this one to go good. Of course, I would immediately run into the Warlord. After saying that. Also kinda want you guys to be a little bit more involved in the fight, so I can actually just go ahead and terrify you. Because another interesting fact, the enemies will not get terrified if they are not part of the battle. So, you know, if they are just standing around there and don't know that a fight is actually happening, they will never get terrified. You first have to basically tag them, if you want to call it that. So they are participating. Okay, that was a little bit iffy, but okay. So, what I will do now, like we said earlier, the ghost armor is good for fighting multiple enemies, not good for fighting a single enemy. So I will change my armor for a single fight. Against, hey, it's Ryuzo! Oh no! The dude actually go ahead and betrayed us, because the Khan offered him food. Guess the burgers weren't good enough, Ryuzo, huh?
I'll make it quick.
But yeah, I'm wearing now the Sakai armor. The Sakai armor has a massive increase to your melee damage, as well as more charms that I have equipped that increase that even further. So what I will do here is I will just use the Dance of Wrath, which will use basically all of my resolve to very quickly get rid of Ryuzo and this duel. And that is basically the first quote-unquote boss fight in the game done.
Yeah, my first playthrough when I reached the fight with Yuzo there, it hit me, you know, right in the stomach. I was like, oh no, my friend's betraying me. I totally bought into it. It was so good.
Yeah, it's a very emotional moment for sure, but again, we skip all the cutscenes, so we're not getting a lot of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to know the story a little bit more, what's actually happening there, I guess you just gotta have to go and play the game yourself. But it's definitely worthwhile for sure. But yeah, this is another one of these scenarios where we could skip the standoff that we're doing here. However, since I used all of my resolve during that duel, I very much would like to take this one, just so I get my resolve back in case anything goes wrong, that I could revive myself and keep playing. We will just go ahead, ascend this keep to go ahead and find Lord Shimura. I mean, poor dude has basically waited long enough for us here. I mean, you know, 1.5 hours in a Mongol prison, so to speak. How dare us be so slow.
Face me, you coward! Uncle, I'm coming! Hurry!
And there he is! We rescued Lord Shimura! Hooray! But there's still a couple of Mongols left in the castle here, so we do have to do some cleanup work together with him.
Lord Sakai,
Isn't this the guy we're supposed to be killing or not killing?
Yes!
Sensei.
That is him exactly.
For the fallen warriors of Tsushima.
But yeah, there are more Mongols. We throw more bombs. They die. The end. And that is Act 1. So if you were to run the Act 1 any% category of the game, this is basically what we would call time, and you would be done with the run. But since we are doing a full game run of the game, we still have about 2 more hours to go. So let's see how
That's when the Japanese script comes on screen is the end of Act 1, so that was like 1:21:09, it looked like.
Oh, that's not too bad. But yeah, basically everything around a 1:20 time is very, very good.
Still want to leave Tsushima?
Like, I think the current world record in the Act 1 New Game Plus any% category is a 1:20.
You don't need me.
19?
I can trust.
1:20:45 according to
45.
what's on the
Oh,
leaderboard
okay.
right now. Your own PB is actually a high 1:21, so if you want to submit that, that was an Act 1 PB, I guess.
Woo! Even with all the little mishaps I had. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, Go ahead.
Yes, Lord Shimura.
I was just gonna ask what's world record for the this category.
It's a little bit up in the air at the moment. Simply because give me a second so I can do this merchant here. I'm the current world record holder of this category with a time of 3 hours, 22 minutes and 51 seconds. However, I broke that record during another marathon run last weekend, so theoretically, the world record time that has yet, of course, to be verified is a 3 hour, 19 minutes and 40 seconds.
So what you're saying is today is gonna be 3 hours, 18 minutes.
Well, maybe. I mean, it's in the cards, I guess. Could be. I mean, you know, getting a PB in Act 1 is a good indicator, I wanna say. Because I think I was a little bit slower on that last week.
This way. Uncle, I'm sorry I didn't free you sooner. You have nothing.
Oh yeah, I remember why I was slower, because I actually died during that last courtyard fight in the quest that we just did. Before the duel against Ryuzo. I actually died there and had to reload, because that is actually the reason why I was concentrating on that fight, because all the duels that we're gonna do in this category will kind of be the same, where we try to have a maximum resolve, and then just use Dance of Wrath 3 times to quickly end the duel. Now, if I would have to revive myself, I would actually have to spend 3 of my resolve points, and that is basically 1 Dance of Wrath that I would not be able to use during a duel. So it basically comes down, okay, do you want to go ahead and restart the checkpoint so you don't have to revive yourself? Or do you revive yourself, finish the fight, but then cannot use one of the Dances of Wrath during the duel, so the duel would be a little bit harder. And, you know, obviously, you don't want to die, you do want to use your Dances of Wrath, so, that is something that I can do here.
Show our people that honorable samurai still fight for this land.
Also, spoilers, I guess, there will be more duels against people.
Duels in a samurai game, more likely than you think.
Like, boss fights in a video game? What? Who came up with that idea? Give that man a raise. Or woman, or whatever.
Man, it's an interesting mix of how some of the duels are part of story missions, some are part of like character quest paths, the tales of, and some are just straight up found on the map as their own standalone activities.
Never like this.
There are 24 duels in the game, all in all, and only 5 of them are in the main story missions.
I'll see it done. What have they done?
So, you know, a lot of dueling going on if you're up for it. Just not on the speedrun. That was actually a pretty good hit. Well, that not. Die. Just go home.
Mongols. I saw them in Castle.
What's the one I'm forgetting? Ryuzo, Khotun, and Shimura.
Temoge. Start of Act 2 in a few minutes. Are you coming, Uncle? I am making very much sure that I am near Lord Shimura, because that guy has abandoned me a lot of times here. So I had to go back and get him, because his AI pathing can be a little bit finicky from time to time here. Also, fun fact about these 2 archers who just opened up that gate. What? Did they open the gate again? That was not the fun fact that I was gonna say, but I guess that is a new fun fact that can happen. Okay.
Has that ever happened before?
No, that was new. That
Yeah,
was
we got
absolutely
2.
new. Because what I was gonna say, what could happen is, if you attack these archers before they have fully opened the gate into the fort, you cannot enter the fort. Even though the gates themselves will look like they are open, there's an invisible wall that will hinder your progress into the fort. So you absolutely have to make sure that these archers fully open the gates before you start attacking them. However, what happened here was that apparently a completely new set of archers spawned that then opened the gates.
That was pretty cool.
I mean, the gate was open, but then it was closed again and new archers spawned? Something like that happened? I don't know. That was weird. I have never seen that before.
You're ready to fight for.
So that was the second this never happened before during this one. Amazing.
Can we reach 3?
You're on pace for about 5.
I kinda hope not, but
Fair enough.
I guess we'll see.
Following us into battle.
You may have trouble finding them, unless you broaden your horizons.
But yeah, that is like a you know, that's one of the ways that this game tends to bug out sometimes, because there's this terror mechanic that I have explained a couple times now, where the enemies drop their weapons and leave the battlefield, right? However, what can also happen is that progress critical enemies, like these archers opening the gates into the fort, can also get affected by terror. And then the AI will basically just freak out and not do what the script would tell them to do, like, open this gate. And that is, of course, bad, because if the AI doesn't do that, well, nobody else will do it, so the gate would stay closed, or whatever else would, make you be able to progress in the game. And that is, of course, bad, because then you would have to go ahead and restart a checkpoint so the AI can basically fix it itself.
My lord, we freed a Mongol prisoner here.
So, but yeah, that's just up to random chance. If it happens, gotta bite the bullet. Luckily, it doesn't happen too often, but when it does and you're a good pace, it's just the most atrocious thing that you can think of. Also, this is Norio. He's our new best friend, because Ryuzo betrayed us. And the funny thing about Norio is he is the only characters out of the main cast that you don't have to do any side quests for, or any quests whatsoever. Like, if you remember, in Act 1, we had to do a quest for Sensei Ishikawa, for Lady Masako, we had to do a couple for Ryuzo, but we don't have to do a single one for Norio. He just shows up and is our new best friend forever, and we have to do absolutely nothing for this friendship. Also, we don't even have to stay around and listen to him tell us to go ahead and meet him at Akashima Village. You can just call your horse and ride away, because his dialogue will definitely always finish before this countdown reaches 0. Also, this will probably be the only time that we will ever see Norio in this speedrun, so yeah. Bye, Norio. It was nice meeting you. We will see you in the end fight.
We all love Earl, though.
I mean, Norio is the best. Like, seriously. Such a great dude.
Well, Norio too, but I meant Earl.
Oh, yeah, that too. I mean, basically the same person, right?
Well, actually, I was going to mention that Norio, if you do play through his quest path, he's this, like, solemn warrior monk, and Earl Kim, the voice actor, he's done a Twitch stream. He's an online person these days. He is an absolute goofball. So it's just kind of playing against type, I guess, a little there.
Yeah, for sure. Like, they are very different personalities. But, we never see Norio go out of his way and get totally smashed or something, so he could maybe loosen up a little bit once all this war business has been taken care of. I mean, yes, I see the point that he is a warrior monk, but, still. Dude gotta loosen up one of these days. But yeah, anyway, we have a pretty long writing section coming up here, so if you have any donation street or anything to pluck, go ahead.
Unfortunately, still no donations. Big one, don't forget everybody, is going to be the Spare versus Kill Lord Shimura. It is still tied, $40, $40. Come on, let's break that tie. We don't want to hold you hostage. Let's go.
Like, I will tell you now, if we don't get a tiebreaker and we are still at the end of the run by then, I will not press that button to end the game until we have a tiebreaker donation. We will sit here forever if need be.
Maybe that'll incentivize the Pikmin runner to toss a buck on one side.
I mean, it's at the end of my run. I don't have to care about the schedule anymore. Just saying. Nah. Surely it won't come to that, right, guys? Right?
Surely.
No pressure. Also, this riding section is probably the one that you could get lost in quite easily, because riding through all these bushes, you don't exactly have a good, visual indicator if you're going the wrong way or not. So you just kind of have to feel your way around and see if you're still on track the first couple of times you do it. But after a while, you just learn the route and you should come out where you want to. Because the problem is, even though you do have a map that you could open and check, you see this notification on my screen that Izuhara is under attack. If I were to open the map right now, I would get a about 30-second cutscene or something telling me which farmsteads are now under attack by the Mongols, and it would plop them up all one by one and show everyone on screen and whatnot. And obviously we don't want to do that, so I very much have to steer clear of the map button for a little bit here. Basically until I start the next quest, which will happen right here with Yuna and Taka. So story-wise, yes, we now have rescued our uncle, Lord Shimura. However, the Mongols have passed on into Castle Shimura, which is now basically the headquarters of the Mongol invasion on the island. So what we want to do now in Act 2 is reclaim Castle Shimura. However, since it is also the biggest castle on the island, excuse me, we need yet more allies to be able to have a chance of actually attacking it. So what all of quest Act 2 will be about is gathering even more allies. The first allies that we want to get are the Yarikawa rebels. Rebels because Lord Shimura actually put down a rebellion in Yarikawa a couple years back. And because of that, you can probably already tell that they are not on good sides with Lord Shimura and everybody related to him. So they are, not exactly up for debate to become our allies, as we will see in such a moment here. However, both Yuna and Taka are originally from Yarikawa, so we hope that they might be able to, lessen the tide a little bit and talk some sense into the people there.
No.
Taka's right. Too risky.
But as you can see here, Yarikawa is already under siege by the Mongols, so we have to find a way into Yarikawa first before we can actually go ahead and talk to the people there.
Let's go.
I've actually got some donations real quick if you got a second.
Go ahead.
This was your idea.
We have a $5 from Wonder J with the just saying Calithon. We have a $5 donation from Rod G, which was $5. No comment, but they put it towards the spare. But it gets better because of another $5 donation from Rod G. $5 to both sides. Chaos rules. So we're back to square one.
Oh no, guys! I mean, just keep it up.
I thought I chose Chaos, but Rod is the true Chaos Master.
I mean, the longer you guys keep it in that tie, the longer this run will basically be. Because, like I said, I will not end it. Well, there's a tiebreaker. So just keep doing it. It's for a good cause.
Gotta love chaotic neutral Twitch chat.
Who are you? How did...
That's a good way to put it. So this walkie-talkie section coming up is actually a little bit special because you can't even jump here. So the fastest way for us to get through this is to actually go ahead and use the Dance of Wrath and then cancel that by drawing our bow, so we can get through here faster. And then you are now normally supposed to just go to the gate and wait for the next cutscene to trigger. However, if you climb this ladder and then just jump outside of the town again, this cutscene would actually trigger instantly. And all in all, this saves about 10 seconds or so if you do it correctly. So, it's just a minor time save, but it's basically a free time save, so you gotta take it, right? We like our time saves.
It would be a bloodbath.
That's often the case with long runs. Not that this is even a super long run, but that's often the case with long runs that, you save 5 seconds here, 10 seconds there, and that's how somebody who really knows what they're doing versus someone who's maybe quote-unquote just good at the game ends up being 4 or 5 minutes faster.
Yeah, for sure.
That could have gone better.
Let's find Taka.
Yeah, because, you know, these little time saves, they just start adding up over the course of a 3-hour run, or longer runs.
If that doesn't convince him, nothing will. Taka used to visit this swordsmith every day.
But yeah, otherwise, this is a pretty, I think, uninteresting mission. It's basically just a story mission, you having to sneak through this Mongol camp, which we just do by rolling, of course, and then having a bit of a conversation with the people here.
The swordsmith remembered you?
Now, we do learn that Yarikawa is actually missing some archers that have left the town in order to fight back against the Mongols. So what we now hope is that if we go ahead and find these archers, the people of Yarikawa will actually start trusting us. Because, you know, obviously, they were not up for an alliance with Lord Shimura at the moment. So maybe by finding these archers, they will change their mind. So we will now go ahead and meet Yuna and Taka once again, this time a little bit outside of Yarikawa, to start looking for said archers.
Sorry.
No, you're not.
Remember the old fisherman with 6 toes? Yuna, what's he doing here?
One thing I've been kind of looking for a chance to mention, I guess this is as good as any, is that the Sucker Punch developers really did do their homework with this game. There are also a number of dramatic, historical, even geographic liberties that they take, but I think it's a good thing in the case of this game. They actually, at one point in development, planned to base this game a little bit more on actual history and actual events and people, and they were advised by people in Japan that that would be kind of culturally insensitive. So none of the characters in this game are actually real people. Even the Khan, Khotun Khan, there was no Khotun Khan. He mentions what his relation to other historically well-known Khans are, and you can sort of infer a real-life person that would have been at that point on the family tree, but there was no actual Khotun Khan. And in the actual history, the Mongol invasion of Tsushima Island went very swiftly and faced almost no resistance. They pacified the island within weeks, and yeah, there was certainly no ghost around to rally the populace.
Yep, that's true.
Arrowheads, bowstrings, hide to make adhesive.
I think the only thing that is historically accurate is the storm that smashed the Mongol fleet.
Explosive barrels.
But other than that, yeah, a lot of liberties taken with the storytelling of this game.
Tracks here.
But yeah, we have now found the archers, or are about to find them right here. And of course, they also have some problems, because who would have guessed about half of them have been captured by the Mongols. So they kinda wanna, you know, they need us to free the rest of them. So I guess we gotta help them first, before they will actually come back with us to Yarikawa.
There's your archers. All in good health.
Oh, the other thing I was going to mention is the game suggests Tsushima Island being much larger than it actually is. It's actually quite small in real life. As you progress to Act 3 of the game, it's like very cold and snowy in the north of the island, while it's still mild and temperate in the south, and it's not nearly large enough in real life for that to be the case. But it does make for very, visually arresting set pieces in the game.
So we shoot this first explosive barrel just so that the enemies come into the town here a little bit faster, because they have drawn aggro, so to speak. And then we just blow up the second barrel to actually go ahead and kill them. Also, what the heck is going on here?
Uh-oh, do we have our third?
It's kinda a little bit this never happened before. Not really.
Hey,
not
we're up to
quite.
3.
But yeah, you can basically see how quickly one of these fights can go south if things don't happen according to the script. And then we are missing some people. They're coming from over there. Okay. Was a little bit iffy, but not too bad still.
Good work.
This could have gotten way worse. But yeah, now we have freed and rescued and whatnot the archers. Now we go back to Yarikawa, and hey, the people actually start trusting us now. Problem is, there's still the small matter with the siege going on around Yarikawa. And I guess that is the last thing that we have to do for Yarikawans. Rig the siege that they are enduring at the moment. And the next quest coming up is probably the favorite quest of a lot of people because it is just wonderfully done. Like, it's a lot of fun to play. A lot of things are happening in the story here. It's basically the birth of the ghost in a way. And sadly we will see very little of that because we skip all the cutscenes, of course. But yeah, if you are playing this casually, pay special attention to this quest, I want to say. But for now we will just go into the keep there, we'll meet Yuna, get totally smashed, and then we'll just go ahead and fend off an attack. Easy peasy.
And you see that text on the screen saying Legends Storyteller. That is actually a portal from within the single-player map to enter the Legends multiplayer mode, which is rather elegant, I think.
Yuna!
Jin,
Yuna! The Mongols! Let's go. How close?
they're at the main gates. If they get through,
We'll stop them.
There he is! The ghost!
the ghost!
Taka!
Save
Gather
us!
everyone
The only
who
thing I
can
don't
fight
like
and get
about
them to
the
keep.
Legend Storyteller is that they are... What the hell was that?
They're attacking!
These arrows are normally not
Ford?
supposed to hit
Every
you.
Mongol who sets foot inside our walls
I'm not going to say anything.
I think
I
that's Ford.
have never been hit by one of these stray arrows. I had no idea that they had actually collision.
Close enough, that's Ford.
Well, yeah,
The
sounds
hell?
like it.
What is happening in this run? Was that enough? Are you guys dead now? Yes, you are. Ah,
back. Hold this gate.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, how do you break a siege? Well, you fire a couple explosive arrows at people, and then you go ahead and
Hold them back.
throw a couple bombs at them, and that should be enough to deter them. Or maybe not, because that guy just doesn't want to get feared, I suppose. You too, huh? Oh, how about that? Is that enough now? Okay. So you shoot a couple explosive arrows at them, you throw a few bombs, and then you stab them a few times, and that is enough to defend Yarikawa. Now, it's not quite enough though, because now that we have fought back the guys at the gates, the Mongols actually bring out some siege equipment, like these catapults you can see up there off the cliff. So our goal here now is to go up there and disable those. And what we will do here is, and I alluded to that before, normally you would have to kill all these enemies around here. But if you just go ahead and drop a smoke bomb, this will actually put you out of combat, and then you can just safely go ahead and disable the siege equipment right here. And none of these Mongols around here will be ever the wiser.
Yeah, the first time I saw someone do this, my jaw hit the floor.
If I don't see it, it does not exist.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
So yeah, in our absence, the Mongol now have made their way into the town though, so we now have to go back and defend it from the inside once more. So once again, we will just use the power of the Tumbleweed Samurai to bypass all these Mongols.
That's the general, Tamuge. Sounds like he's near the keep.
And then we will prepare our armor for our duel with the leader of this Mongol force, General Temuge. So I will switch back to the Sakai armor, which again has been loaded up with a lot of damage dealing charms. And what will happen here is, well, I have all the resolve that I could have, so we'll just go ahead and use Stand of Wrath.
Oh yeah,
Jin
that's
Sakai.
a duel I didn't think of
I
earlier.
have killed men like you all across our island.
Your blood will soak the island!
killed men in many countries to live, but here, you die.
And that's General Temuge. Now you see me during the duels sometimes that I roll back or take a little bit of a distance to the enemy. And that is because the startup animation of the Dance of Wrath doesn't have any invulnerability frames or whatever. So what could happen is I start the Dance of Wrath, and in that second that it takes the attack to actually come out, the enemy could go ahead and actually attack me and probably kill me, and then I would have to restart the duel, and of course I don't want to do that, so I would just rather take a safety step back, so to speak, and then use the Dance of Wrath.
Run, cowards!
Run! But yeah, this is also the point in the game where you get the ghost stance. The ghost stance is what you see me doing after the duel, where the screen got this red and white flashing effect. And you can liken this to stuff like the Wrath of the Gods from games like God of War or something, where it is this special meter that you fill up by killing 7 enemies without getting hit in between. And then you can activate Ghost Stance, and what that allows you to do is it allows you to kill 3 enemies, no questions asked. So you can basically just walk up to them and just straight up murder them.
Only the best for you.
However, in a speedrun setting, it doesn't have a lot of use actually, because for whatever reason they programmed it in a way that these kills that you do in Ghost Stance cannot trigger the terror effect. So, you know, since you only kill 3 enemies with it, and since we could kill a hell of a lot more just by throwing a bomb or an explosive arrow and even terrify way more on top of that, it sadly has very little use for us in a speedrun setting, so you will probably only see it once or more if everything goes right.
I feel like I'd be more afraid if a ghost came up and murdered my friends than if a random dude came up and murdered my friends.
Probably.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'd be scared of the dude, but like, a ghost, I can't do anything about a ghost.
True, true. But does he throw bombs?
Bomb throwing ghosts might be worse.
I mean, that's proper terrifying, isn't it? Bomb throwing ghost? I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Oh, that doesn't count. Get out of here.
Yobo Masataka Oniva! Oh god, don't remember me. But yeah, story-wise, we have now liberated the town of Yarikawa. So these people actually joined our effort against the Mongols. Hooray! So what else is on the agenda? Well, we will now make our way over to Jin's home village, which is the town of Omi. And speedrun-wise, there's absolutely no reason for us to do this quest. Because there are 3 main reasons why we go to Omi village. One is story, which in a speedrun setting we skip, because we skip the cutscenes. The second one is to get Jin's family armor, the Sakai armor, which we are actually wearing at this very moment. So, yeah, no reason for that. And the third reason is to get the blowgun, which we also already have. Because, you know, New Game Plus shenanigans and all that. So, there's actually no reason for us to do this, but the story dictates for us to go there, of course. So we just sadly have to go and do this quest as well. But, you know, at least we can all enjoy the wonderful scenery of the serene forest here, which is just really, really beautiful. I mean, just look at all of that. Who doesn't want to go on vacation here? Like, seriously. I would go in a heartbeat.
It's feudal Japan and you have a grappling hook, and you guys have been talking about Dark Souls a little bit, so I was waiting for a Sekiro reference from somebody.
Fair enough. I mean, you know, the grappling hook might be a little bit similar in a way. I mean, the sword fighting is obviously very different.
Omi village.
Because in Sekiro, you basically, what, you have R1 now to do your sword fighting. Oh yeah, okay, you have your arts that you can also use. That's right. But I want to say that the actual sword fighting itself might be a little bit more in-depth in Ghost of Tsushima comparatively. Because you have these 4 stances that you can switch between that all have, you know, a couple different attacks that you have to use in different situations.
What's he doing there?
Tending the grounds.
Yeah, I remember reading some kind of dev diary or something about that for this game, not for Sekiro, where they mentioned that at one point in development they had built Jin's katana in such a way that it behaved like an actual katana, but it wasn't very fun to play. So the way it is now doesn't really, look and feel like actual katana combat would, but it's kind of done that way in the name of being a more enjoyable video game, which I think is fair enough, personally.
You'll have to tell me more about
Yeah,
that
for
someday.
sure. I mean, if it's not fun to play, like, what's the point, right?
A few others. Sensei.
I think that's just one of the things that's hard to balance. Is you want that realism, but you also want the game to be playable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half the time he's right, but his aim is unmatched.
He would certainly agree.
That is for sure. But yeah, this is Yuriko. She is the caretaker of Clan Sakai, Jin's clan. And she has basically been keeping a watch on Jin's home here so it doesn't fall to ruins. She's also the only character that you can never hurry along whatsoever. So all these jumping shenanigans that we have been doing during the other walkie-talkie sections with the other characters, that just doesn't fly with Yuriko. She just doesn't care. She walks at her own pace and there's nothing you will do about it.
Well, she's like 80, so that seems fitting.
Also, this is our father's grave, so we are gonna take a moment and do a little bit of poetry here. You know me, I do like my haikus.
I mourn.
So have a listen to this.
We used to meditate here. Now I am alone.
Wasn't that wonderful? Heartwarming. But anyway, in the meantime, while we were composing our haiku here on our father's grave, Yuriko went ahead and readied our family armor for us, which again, we are actually wearing at this very moment. So let's go ahead and grab that and put that on for a second time. Something like that.
You know, we talked about the time machine earlier, but maybe he's the one with the time machine, and that's how New Game Plus is a thing.
Maybe. Might be. Although there's another standoff opportunity coming up, however this one I will actually skip because it is way slower to do this standoff, even though I am missing massive amounts of resolve. So I will just go here, drop smoke, and then just go ahead and chain assassinate these Strawhead Ronin.
Yuriko!
Lord Sakai.
And then go to Yuriko. Also, a fun fact, I've told you about these charm loadouts that we have for our individual armor sets. Like, you know, the Ghost armor has a charm loadout that maximizes the chance for terror. The Sakai armor has a charm loadout to maximize damage, and so on and so forth.
Enough to kill a man.
Now, you would get the Sakai armor at this very point in the game. However,
Good.
if you have another armor equipped, say I had the Ghost armor equipped before I got the Sakai armor in the story right here. The Sakai armor I am wearing now would inherit the charm loadout of the armor I had equipped beforehand. So since I obviously don't want to have that happen, it actually, you know, evens out that we come here with the Sakai armor actually equipped, so that it basically overrides its charm loadout with itself. Because obviously I don't want to mess around with my charm loadouts during a speedrun because I have it set up for specific situations. And if I had to go and change that charm loadout, it would just lose time menuing. And I obviously don't want to do that.
Yuriko was right. A Mongol outpost.
So we'll just quickly go to this little village here to grab some reeds in order for Yuriko to make the blowgun, which we of course also already have, but what can you do? The game demands it. And then we will just quickly go back to Yuriko, because we have done what we came here to do. Now if I have to, well, talk about one thing about the programming for this game, like both the programmers and the QA team at Sucker Punch did a marvelous job of basically finding all, well, bugs and glitches and exploits and whatnot, because they are basically not in this game, except from the rolling thing. But other than that, we have been hard pressed to try and find anything that makes this run go faster than it may be intended to be. And we have come up with very few things. So yeah, good job once again, Sucker Punch. Good job. Could you maybe tone it down a little bit for the next game, please? Let us find something. Maybe.
Which is kind of interesting because I speedrun Infamous, one of Sucker Punch's earlier games. The speedrun for Infamous 1, there's 38 missions in that game. 2 are skipped entirely, and almost every other one has some kind of trick in it. So I guess they got better over time.
For sure. I mean, you've seen the Batman run by Xenoris before this, right? And you've seen how broken that game is. Yeah, there's just none of that in this one. You have to abide by the game's rules. Well, for most part, we also have the smoke bomb thing that takes you out of combat, that lets you disable the siege equipment and stuff like that, but, nothing too game-breaking, I want to say.
There was also the Bannerman thing, but we're pretty sure that was patched out. Somebody said on the Discord that they've gotten it to work on current patch, but I don't believe anything ever came of that.
Yeah, we have a hard time recreating that.
What?
For sure.
You were 3 or 4. The poor man was trying to teach you how to hold your wooden kodachi.
But yeah, we are coming to the end of this quest in just a moment here, now that we have heard the story. We have the Sakai armor, we have the blowgun. Just gotta get to this camp over here and we are basically done with this quest.
He lost his humor after your mother got sick. But you have your father's laugh. Here we are.
A gozamet and a campfire.
Alright, and this is where we will collect the poison. Because what actually happened story-wise is that Yuriko told Jin that she is making some sort of poison to keep vermin out of the rice. And Jin, well, then just goes ahead and asks her, well, can you make that poison strong enough so it can actually kill people? And Yuriko is a little bit reluctant about that, but ultimately she accepts. And that is how we now have these poison darts with the blowgun that we can shoot at. And this is actually a very critical story point for the game, which you will see a little bit later.
Really sorry if my mic caught that burp a second ago.
How could you?
How dare.
But yeah, also another interesting fact, you've seen me use the blowgun 1 or 2 times before this. However, from this point onward, I will not use the blowgun during the speedrun again. Because now that we, for story reasons, actually have the blowgun, if I were to use it now, I would actually trigger a cutscene that takes about 30 seconds that I cannot skip. And obviously I don't want to have to go through that particular cutscene, so I will just refrain from using the blowgun from now on. This scene doesn't trigger unless you actually have the blowgun, so to speak. So I was allowed to use it, but from now on, no more blowgun. So yeah, now that we have, recruited the people of Yarikawa, we have done all our business in Omi village. There is one more thing that we have to do in Act 2 here, and that is we need to deliver a message to the Shogun on the mainland. and basically tell him what is actually happening on the island, because there is this sea blockade around the island of Tsushima, so nobody knows what the hell is even going on here. And you know, we are only having 2 samurais left, Jin and his uncle. They can't do all the work. We need some help from the mainland, so we now need to find a pirate or a smuggler, and hopefully he will be able to get a message through this blockade to the shogun. So we will head our way over to Umugi Cove, a smuggler's den, and see if we can find somebody over there. And this is another, you know, a little bit longer riding section, so if you have anything to plug or donation street, go ahead.
Funny you mention that, because I'm actually in the middle of donating myself to once again break that tie. Spare is now winning by $5, thanks to yours truly.
No! Don't! Why are you keeping for donating for Spare? Ah, people, come on! Can we get some kill donations on, please? Please!
Other than that, no donations. Just remember, everybody, besides that... Hold on, let me let my dog finish barking before I finish.
Maybe he wants to donate. You know, he's angry that you're donating for Spare.
He would definitely donate for kill.
Kill, kill, kill! I mean, bark is kinda close to kill, right? That counts. I think.
Sorry about that. What I was gonna say is, besides the this incentive, we also have a lot of things we're trying to meet. Specifically, the next one is once again Yakuza Kiwami 2. I'm not about to make that same mistake again. Changing the difficulty to legendary. We have a Star Fox 64 Scream Fox mod. I have no idea what that means, but I am very curious. Also for Star Fox 64, Kill Slippy. I know what that one means, and I understand.
Don't we all?
So yeah, please donate what you can. All going to a great cause. Thanks everybody for being out here and donating what you have. Let's see if we can hit that 5,000 before the end of the run. That'd be really great.
If you've ever been annoyed by Slippy, donate $5 now. I dare you.
This way, my lord. It's important you speak to the
I mean, if you've ever played any Star Fox game and you've been annoyed by one character, it was Slippy, wasn't it? We've
Hey,
all
chat,
been
you're all
there,
getting called
people.
out.
We've all been there.
Lord Sakai, this is Lady Sanjo.
Welcome to Umugi Cove.
I see the Mongols have been found. Thank you.
Come see me again sometime. I think we can help each other.
Alright, this is Goro. He is the smuggler that we are searching for.
After Komoda Beach, I thought my debt to Lord Shimura was erased. That's why I was drinking.
To celebrate your escape?
To mourn the samurai.
Oh, let's have a little bit of a walk with him here, over to his home.
Like me.
They swore to defend everyone on Tsushima.
Also, this guy obviously can talk while he's drinking.
I don't know if I can repay their sacrifice.
My master wouldn't ask for your help if he expected you to
Didn't show this off properly, but his mouth is actually talking while he's drinking from his bottle there. So I guess multitasking win?
Mongol blockade won't be easy. Do you have Lord Shimura's message?
He has it. At his camp on the Akashima coast.
Ah, I can work with that. One of my boats is hidden near Fort Mitodake. This map shows where I'll wait on the forest road.
Okay, now that we have the map, we will now go back to Akashima Village, which we grabbed as a fast travel option way at the beginning of Act 2. So this is where this finally comes in. Like a good half hour ago or so.
Norio's here. No sign of any other ones, though.
And now the rest of this quest, when we will go ahead and attack Fort Mitodake in a short time, can be a little bit broken. Like, that's definitely a, well, how to put that, a bit of a reset heavy point at some times, because it's another one of these where you can easily break the AI, because once again some archers have to actually close a gate this time, and that can sometimes not function properly because of the terror effect. So here's hoping that that won't happen, because if I had to reload that checkpoint, I could actually lose quite a bit of time, because I would also have to do the fight before that happens again. So fingers crossed that the AI behaves.
At last, you have news.
Yes, Lord Shimura.
Also, we will have another writing section with a couple NPCs here. And at the end of it, all of them have to be in a specific spot in order to trigger the next cutscene, which advances the game. However, these guys have been known that when they dismount their horses to get stuck at geometry. So let's also hope that that doesn't happen. Because once again, it would mean that I would have to go ahead and reload the checkpoint. And I already don't like that that one guy is lagging behind so much. But I guess he is slowly getting ground. So hurry up, dude. We need you for cutscenes.
The Mongols have many ships.
Ah, there.
Can Goro evade them all?
He has no choice.
What will we do if they catch us, my lord?
Do not fear death, Kotaro. Live with courage. And never forget the people you fight to protect.
And there's Goro again.
Goro, where is your boat?
This way. I'm happy you're alive, my lord.
Thank you for agreeing to settle your debt.
I'll do my best. But I fear the Mongols will sink.
So let's see when they dismount what will happen.
There are too many eyes watching the water.
Perhaps we can direct their attention elsewhere.
Is everybody coming?
We walk from here. Fort?
What the hell are you doing, Goro? Did he just light his horse on fire?
My father took that stronghold.
Yep, that horse is definitely on fire.
What?
Oopsie doopsie.
Well, I hate to say it, but that never happened before.
That's fine. That is actually fine. What in God's name is happening here today?
What is going on here? Like, holy crap.
How long can we keep the enemy surprised?
I have never seen that.
Then we strike.
Why would you light your horse on fire after dismounting? Like, what the hell?
Mongols ahead.
The horsey was fine.
I don't think so, for some reason.
We have the advantage. Walk for three. More coming to the gates. Take them quickly.
Okay. Moment of truth. Will they close the gate? I think we're good. Yes, they closed the gate. Hooray!
Forward through that gate.
Also, you have to wait a little bit for Shimura to actually come up to the gate, because if you press that button before he is here, you can actually softlock the game, because he won't come to your aid to open that gate, and you're just stuck, and you have to reload the checkpoint also. So, you know, go fast, but don't go too fast.
Watch us! Take cover!
So yeah, now we have to make our way through this fort here, because what's actually happening right now is there are a lot of ships that Goro with his little boat would have to get through, and we fear that he might not be able to do that. So we are trying to draw the Mongols' attention to ourselves so that Goro can slip by them unnoticed. So I guess we're doing a good job so far, because they're definitely onto us.
Hey, you mind if I bring something up real quick?
Go ahead.
Something I completely forgot to mention. We actually have 2 rewards you can possibly win by donating. If you donate at least $30, you are entered into a raffle to win Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for an entire year. So that gives you Game Pass on your PC, your Xbox if you have one, and EA Play. It's actually a really great deal. If you donate at least $50, you have the chance to win a Calithon themed Game Boy. That's really rad. It's custom made, new buttons, tempered glass. It's we don't have a final design yet. There is a mock-up. It looks really cool. Definitely stuff worth donating towards.
Bodied by the dogs. Die. Now, let it be known that I love dogs. I have 2 dogs of my own. But these little shitty Mongolian ankle biters can go rot in hell for all I care.
I have seen some people play this game casual playthrough streams where they go way out of their way to try to not hurt the dogs. And there is actually, I don't know if this was always planned or if it was just a reaction to the community on Sucker Punch's part, there is actually a charm in NG Plus where if you can sneak up on an enemy dog and pet it, it will, not only can you pet it, it will actually fight alongside you from that point.
Yep, but the dogs are by far the worst enemies in this game. Like, they are unbelievably obnoxious to fight. They will ruin your day if they can. And just no, end them. With extreme prejudice.
Watches on the shore.
I mean, I guess it's another Dark Souls comparison.
Huh?
The dogs in Dark Souls are usually pretty maligned as well.
Are they, though? I think they're not as bad as dogs in this game, to be honest. But here we have grabbed some Mongol siege equipment for ourselves here, and we are now helping Goro make for the open seas, so we can actually go ahead and deliver our message.
Not much of a history buff, but is this weapon historically accurate?
Well, maybe not the reloading, but otherwise I think so.
Hold on, Goro. You made it, Goro.
Yep, it's called a Hwacha. That name is actually given in the game.
You did it.
I don't know if I'm going to get bopped by a bot, but I'll put the link in chat to the Wikipedia article, and it pretty much is depicted the way...
Send me the link over Discord. I'll be able to post it.
Well, it looks like it went through okay, unless it only shows that to me.
It only shows that to you.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just the Wikipedia link. Hwacha.
Hwacha.
That's how it's spelled.
Okay, and with that, we have actually completed the 3 big tasks that were laid before us at the start of Act 2.
I'm happy to offer
You've been requested to hydrate.
I've been requested to hydrate. Alright, we'll do that in a second then.
Reach your weapon like an Lord Sakai.
Hydrate!
Thanks to your efforts. Yuna may want to join me for this.
Can't take everything.
What are you leaving?
Alright. So, our next task is actually Ryuzo has been spotted in a fort near our war camp here. So, you know, before we go ahead and actually assault Castle Shimura and hopefully reclaim that, why not go ahead and tie up a few loose ends? One of them, of course, being Ryuzo. So we will now alone make our way over to Fort Koyasan and have a little chat with our dear old friend.
We're gonna take back the borders we gave him.
Exactly. Hopefully he hasn't eaten them yet. Because my god. But to be honest, a burger sounds good right about now. I'm gonna go for a burger.
I had some burgers earlier, but I might do it again after I'm done here.
Oh, yeah.
A nest of traitors.
It's 1:30 a.m. here, so I don't think I have a good chance of getting one at the moment. Damn it.
Better scout the fort.
What, is your local McDonald's not 24/7?
I
Mongols.
haven't actually thought about McDonald's right now.
Lord Sakai, wait!
Oh well, maybe for breakfast.
Go. I'll make my move now.
But yeah, anyway, we actually get help from Taka. He will, you know, distract all the Mongols inside the camp, so we don't actually have to go ahead and fight them ourselves.
Samurai will come for you.
However, we can just do this. Walk through all of them. Because we just don't care. Yeah, I mean, they're not stopping us. We can just walk through here. What's the problem?
Don't even
And
have
then,
to
of
roll.
course, just drop the smoke bomb, get out of combat, and open the door. No biggie. But yeah, things go a little bit awry, and oh no, we've been captured. How did that happen? Well, we never know because we skipped the cutscene.
I knew you were in trouble. I came to help, but the Mongols got me.
Also, because the game doesn't expect for the Mongols in this camp to still be alive, enjoy this little audio glitch where the Mongols will now repeatedly yell at us for the rest of this quest. Also, yeah, things happen to Taka, and, well...
Yeah,
this is
that
the result.
cutscene there is probably the one I'm most grateful can get skipped, because as you can see, Taka is now deceased, and it is quite brutally graphic how he is taken out.
Hey, how are we on estimate?
Alright, gonna take care of a few of these guys now. Oh, okay. Guess he was a little bit quicker on his sword slash than I was.
No mercy!
Where's the last? Oh, that was all of them. Okay. Quest took a bit longer to update them. And in comes Yuna, searching for her brother. Well, I guess that won't go over very good.
Yeah, Sumali Montano, the voice actress for Yuna, she's brilliant throughout, but certainly in this cutscene and a few that follow after where she's, you know, Yuna is reacting to her brother dying, it's just heartbreaking stuff. She's just so, it's just so effective.
Well, at least we have a few Mongols for stress relief here, I guess.
Better them than us.
Alright, that's that. Little Mongolian barbecue going on here, I want to say.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Over the course of the game, it might add up.
Hey, can I make a correction real quick?
Right?
I mentioned not too long ago about the Calithon Game Boy. We actually do have the physical Calithon Game Boy. I'm going to post a link in the Twitch chat to show everybody what it looks like. So definitely donate towards that, because that's really cool.
Does it come with games?
It does not come with games.
And it's pretty cool. Yeah, I never played Game Boy myself. I don't have much connection to it, but yeah, it's pretty awesome that that got mocked up.
For sure.
By the way, I asked this earlier, but I don't think I came through. How are we doing on estimate?
Oh, we are doing very good.
Only the best for you.
But we should definitely finish under.
Rad.
Check those wheels.
Don't see a lot of problem with that at the moment.
Take care, you know. I need to meet Lord Oga.
I'll see you on the battlefield.
But should we? Oh wait, where?
Last one.
Where am I going? This is Lord Oga. My God! Imagine not remembering where to
Lord
go.
Sakai. Lord Oga.
I can probably give you a pretty spot-on estimate after the next two quests.
You're to be commended, Lord Sakai.
Because we are actually fast approaching the end of Act 2 here. Because these are the samurai from the mainland, so we know that Goro actually came through with his message. And we are making ready to go ahead and assault Castle Shimura. And if you remember, our big goal of Act 2 was to reclaim Castle Shimura, so, you know, let's go ahead and just do exactly that.
It's time we save this island.
So this quest is called The Fate of Tsushima, and you know, it is probably one of the biggest battles in the game, with a lot of people clashing here in just a minute. So let's see how we will do in that battle.
Kill them all!
This archer here will always immediately start shooting at you, so you have to be a little bit careful of that. Actually make sure that you dodge. Next are these guys up there. A little bit hard to line up that shot with the explosive barrel that I was trying to hit, but we managed. Okay, that was the fight at the gate. Pretty good, pretty fast. Next we will infiltrate the first courtyard. Shouldn't take a lot more than one black powder bomb here.
Move to higher ground! Clear the way ahead! Be careful! Strike them down, Lord Sakai!
Keep swinging, Norio.
Okay, are these guys gonna do their job properly? Okay, kinda.
Warrior, break through that gate!
So what happened to the music? There should be music here.
Charge them, or they'll pin us down.
There it is.
Kill them all!
Alright, interesting fact for this battle here, you don't actually have to kill anybody, you just have to get to the end of this area. So let's do exactly that.
Ah, good. The pacifist run.
And with that, you can completely skip all the fighting in that courtyard. It's pretty awesome.
I'm coming with you.
Stay close. Hold your position.
And now we are gonna take control of yet another watcher.
What's going on?
Ooh.
The top. The weapon is ours. Push forward.
Aim at the Mongol. Re-attack.
Now thankfully, these watchers also have friend-foe recognition, so you can just start shooting into your own ranks and nothing bad will ever happen here, as it will only damage the hostile Mongols. It's pretty rad, if you think about it. Imagine having friendly fire here. Literally.
More Mongols!
Kill them all!
Would probably make the Hwacha not worth using, wouldn't it?
Probably, yeah.
I see them.
I mean, the same with the bombs, though. I mean, imagine if they would actually harm your friends.
Join the others.
True.
That would be
Right to terrorize
not so great.
Uncle was wrong.
Absolutely not.
Can't make them understand. We'll die if we don't change.
You are the only reason we've made it this far. And
Lord Sakai, you broke them.
the Khan is losing ground.
Mongols up there. Watch your back, Masako.
No mercy for the Mongols.
Send them back to hell. We're clear. Move forward.
Alright, and one more.
Push through. We must reach the bridge.
A couple explosive arrows should do the trick here.
Everyone to the bridge. The enemy's retreating. Push forward.
And one more.
Hold the stage. Take the bridge.
And that should be everybody. Apparently not.
Warriors, break through that gate. Lord Sakai,
That should be everybody, though.
fire on them from above. Yuna.
Okay. So we have nearly retaken Castle Shimura. However, what happens here is that we come to this bridge, and all of our warriors are up there, and the Khan, or the Mongols rather, send a few horse carriages our way, loaded with explosives, and they blow up both the bridge and our warriors. So now we are basically stuck on the other side. And what Lord Shimura decides is that he will try and rebuild the bridge while the Mongols are shooting arrows and whatnot at us. And at this point, Jin is having enough. Like, he has seen too much bloodshed, too many of our people are dying. And he basically proclaims, well, there's another way to defeat these Mongols, which is by poison. And that, of course, completely goes against Lord Shimura's code of honor, you know, the samurai code, where you face your opponent fair and square. And he forbids it. But as you can see, Jin still goes through with it. So we have gathered up a lot of these poison leaves. And we are now making our way into the keep of Castle Shimura to try and poison all of the Mongols.
You know, everything you've said so far has made Lord Shimura seem like, you know, a pretty upstanding dude. I don't know why you want to kill him.
Yeah, well, you know, it's starting to come together.
He's just very old-fashioned, even by 13th century standards.
Better take out the guards quietly. Then I can scout from the top floor.
Speaking of that donation incentive, nothing has changed yet. We are still at $50 for spare, $45 for kill. As we are running into the last hour of the run, this is the time to get those donations in before the run ends.
Yep. Donate, people.
That was clear. Now look.
Alright, let's see how we will progress with our infiltration here.
Defenses. Plenty of
Lots of Mongols, lots of sneaking. What could that mean?
straw hat. Yuzo.
Also, hey, look, it's a Ryuzo.
They're preparing a feast. I can poison the Khan's fermented milk. Let his army drink the arag, and kill any survivors. Fortified defenses. Explosives. My
So
uncle's
basically,
team was
story-wise,
sent to
this is where Jin turns into some kind of one-man army, taking care of all of these people around here.
You mean he hasn't been a one-man army this entire time?
Well, you know, story-wise, not yet. New Game Plus, yes. New Game, not quite as much yet.
Now to reach their feast.
Oh, and also those moments, there's several of them throughout the game where you're like, perch somewhere looking down on your next area and you press X here, there, and there. That's another one of those spots where if you really know what you're doing, you can save a few seconds here and there, because in some of those cases, I don't actually believe this one, but in some of those cases, you don't actually have to hit every one of those. You only have to hit certain ones.
Yeah, there are a couple instances where that is the case, for sure. Alright, we've poisoned the Iraq.
Not wait.
So, drink up, guys. It's a feast for everybody.
I'm not sure I would have to taste for fermented horse milk.
Well, I mean, these guys clearly don't as well, because they're all gonna be screaming along the ground in just a minute.
Little thick. Yeah.
Might have something to do with the poison we put in there, but who knows? Also,
somebody is poisoned into the water hole.
Well, the fermented horse milk.
Also, once again, I have put on the Sakai armor, so that can only mean one thing, alright? We're gonna do another duel. Kinda. Oh, hey, look, it's Ryuzo.
You should have surrendered. I won't die by your uncle's hand. You won't stop.
So yeah, we basically gave him a chance to surrender. He doesn't want to do it, so we will have another duel against him.
You left me no
And I was trying to convince us that we should convince our uncle that he was our spy sent in to gain the Mongols' trust and all that stuff. But Jin is having known that too many people have died because of Ryuzo's ambitions. And now he's dead.
Yeah, Jin's response to that is basically, nah, fam.
And that is the end of Act 2. And what happens there is, of course, our uncle finds out what we have done. And it was against all that he stood for, all that we stood for. So we have now been taken prisoner. And the Shogun has now come through with our judgment. And we are supposed to be beheaded for our treason. Well, not treason, but for our trespassing against the samurai code, basically. Because we have not fought honorably. And now our allies would actually free us because, we still have to deal with the Mongols. That stuff isn't still over. So we are on our way into the last act of the game, which means we have about 40 to 45 minutes left in this run. So let's see about it.
Thank you, Kenji.
As we make our way out of Castle Shimura right here. Right, that went pretty clean. Of course, to get out of this castle, we can't leave our horse behind now, can we? Now let's go ahead, get our horse.
Our trusty horse, who the game tells us in exactly these words, will be with us for our entire journey.
As it turns out, that is a blatant lie. Because, F's in chat, guys, the horse just died.
You had us name that horse, knowing it would die.
Yes. Poor Nobu now rests under these rocks by the wayside.
I have to say, I once caught a casual player stream of, they were in Act 3 at the time, and her stream title was like, crying emoji, no, I'm still not over it, crying emoji, and I thought that was about Taka when I tuned in. No, it was about the horse. I consider myself an animal lover, but I was a little sadder about Taka.
The horse's death is like something that just gets to everybody, because if you're playing this game casually, at this point you've probably spent a good 40 hours, riding around on that horse. And like you just said, the game tells you at the beginning, this horse will be with you for your whole journey. And then you come to this point and you see this cutscene and it just rends your heart apart.
No, I understand, totally.
And fun fact, if you are speedrunning this on New Game, you know, not New Game Plus, New Game, where you have to watch all the cutscenes every time, you will see that horse die every time you speedrun the game. It's a thing. And it's not necessarily fun.
That's another advantage for New Game Plus.
Yes, you can just skip
You
the cutscene.
never want to see a New Game speedrun of this.
Blood poured from his mouth. Smells like wolf's bane.
But yeah, in the time that we've been captured, which is actually, I think, a couple weeks or so, the Mongols have now actually learned how to make the poison that we ourselves use. And even though we've just been poisoned ourselves and are vomiting our own blood, that doesn't stop us from just rolling around the ground. So I guess we're fine? Probably? We just walk it off. Good hour's sleep or so. Should be able to take care of it.
Yuna? Is that you?
But yeah, as it turns out, the Mongols learned to make that poison, and Khotun Khan, which is the leader of the Mongols' idea is now to gather as much of that poison as possible and then sail for mainland Japan and invade that. And obviously, we can't allow that. You know, that whole poison thing was our idea, more or less. So we gotta stop these Mongols.
This is just kind of more proof that he didn't do it. Your lord didn't do anything wrong, and we should spare
I
him.
think I found a better hideout.
Eh,
Climb up and look toward the mountain.
I don't know.
Somewhere by the mountain.
I mean, we get there when we get there. We're not quite finished yet.
And in striking distance of the Khan's stronghold.
There's only one problem. The Mongols have it.
We can fix that.
Let's get the horses.
But yeah, we now have the problem that we are in the northernmost reaches of the island of Tsushima.
They killed.
And it's basically just Yuna and us. There is nobody else here because the rest are still in the south. On the other side of Castle Shimura, because Castle Shimura serves as a natural border between the southern parts of Tsushima and the north. And first of all, we now have to try and secure basically a base of operation for ourselves. So we will now go to this temple pagoda and, you know, drive the Mongols out. They probably don't need it, right? They've been there long enough.
I believe at this point in the game, you could also not go back to the south part of the map yourself, right?
Exactly, fast travel is deactivated for this point in the game. Or at least for the southern region.
We can only win this war if we stand together.
Shimura's a fool for turning against you.
He wanted me to be his
I mean, to
son.
be honest, even in the winter, this section is still quite pretty.
Being right doesn't always make things better.
Tell that to the people you saved. If we kill the Khan and drive the Mongols out, is there a chance your uncle will forgive you?
When I was young, Lord Shimura became my father, my sensei, my entire world. I never wanted to disappoint him. I have to hope we can heal this wound. Whatever happens, his forgiveness won't change who I am.
He thinks I corrupted you.
I made my own choices. Even knowing what they've cost me, I'd make them again. Even if the Shogun brands me as a traitor.
Alright. And with that, let's make our way over to this little fishing village that we first have to have a look at. We'll wait here for Yuna to actually dismount the horse, because if you walk too far away from her at this point while she is still on the horse, you actually have to go back and get her. But once she is dismounted, you can just run straight for the next objective, as she will follow you quickly enough, luckily. So we'll just come over here and try to chain assassinate all three of those guys. Yep. That's good enough. Go around here, and we only have to assassinate one of these two guys, because the other should just get terrified and leave. Which happened. Perfect. Like, get this guy. And the guy over there. That should leave only one dude inside here. Huh? Where is he? Hello? Oh, he went over there. What are you doing out here, dude? Shouldn't you guard the prisoners? Guess he wanted to go. Guess he wanted to go for a snag or something. Yeah, but normally that big guy is always inside of this house here, guarding the prisoners. I have no idea what he did out there. I don't want to say the words again, but you know.
That's 6. That is 6 times in one run.
They left explosives on the ice.
I guess
What kind of? I think I'm like the outlier here. Maybe it's me causing this.
Maybe, I don't know.
Them onto the ice. Then divide and conquer.
But yeah, this is definitely something.
I'll draw them out.
You know, I've run the game so often now. You
attention.
think you've seen it all, but it still keeps surprising you. Also, we will have our very own rendition of Mongols on ice right here, right now, because we lured all these Mongols out on the ice to these explosive barrels, which they happily congregate around. So, you know, the usual. Stay away from red barrels, guys. Like, seriously. If video games should have taught you one thing, it is to stay away from red barrels. Apparently these guys didn't get the memo. So I hope you do.
We need to plan our attack carefully.
But yeah, this is Jugoku Temple. And we will just go ahead and rescue the other monks who are still being held prisoner by the Mongols. Just taking care of the big guys here. Anybody left? Nope. That's it. Okay. Alright, secured Jokaku. Nice. So we now have a base of operations. And what is the next thing that we need? Well, our allies, of course.
No.
So what we'll do now, not only is Castle Shimura separating the north from the south, there is also another fort. Fort, oh god, what's it called again? Kaminodake, I think. Which is in Mongol control. So we will now go ahead and assault that fort in order to have a way to communicate with our allies and to bring them up into the north, so we can go ahead and take care of the rest of the Mongol invasion here. First, more shopping.
From your hunting. Very good quality.
So we want to stock up on everything that we can.
Worthy of a samurai.
Basically just buy us whole stock. It'll all come in handy eventually.
Hey, do we got time for a donation?
Go ahead.
We got a $20 donation from Anonymous. They're saying, "This is my chance to scream at all the hate." Did not change the kill Spare Lord Shimura, so Spare is still winning by $5.
No! Scream at that! Please. Also, this patrol right here is probably the worst Mongol patrol that can appear in the whole speedrun, because it is like square in your way that you have to go. And if you were to try and circumvent that, you would have to go way around them, which is nearly not possible. And that is exactly why I am switching my armor here to the Mongol Commander's armor. Now, the Mongol Commander's armor is probably the last armor you would get in the game through a side quest in Act 3. And what it does, it basically disguises you as a Mongol. So it will take the Mongols a very long time to actually detect you. And that basically allows you to more or less bypass any patrols while you have it equipped. Now, the downside to that is, of course, that you have to menu to be able to actually equip it. But it is still faster than trying to outrun that patrol, especially if you get shot down from your horse. So yeah, it is a little bit of a time loss, but still better than the alternative. Also, we are now making our way over to Takeshi's castle. Takeshi is the leader of a local group of hunters and an old acquaintance of Yuna, and they will probably help us with our assault on Fort Camino Dake. So let's find out. So this is Takeshi's castle. Well, not quite, but you know, most of the ladders check out, okay? So let's have a chat with Takeshi.
You're welcome at our campfire, my lord. Are you Takeshi?
Also, probably most of you guys know the show Takeshi's Castle, right?
Come over here and you'll see.
I didn't make
My
that
brain
joke for
goes
nothing.
to my brain goes to the Famicom video game first.
Oh my god, why?
Mongol archers guard the gate.
When are we getting that in Calithon?
Also, the fastest way to climb down from a mountain? Well, jumping, of course. Well, that's not exactly how that was supposed to go down, literally. Well, damn it.
Okay, that
That's
one's had to
better.
have happened before.
No, that has definitely happened before. It's like, when you jump down a certain height, you have to roll, otherwise you take damage. And if the fall is actually way too high, you will actually just straight up die unless you roll for whatever reason. However, also the higher the fall, the tighter your timing for the roll has to be in order to, you know, make the roll and not die. And I very obviously missed the timing. So, you know, we had a little accident there, but no biggie, no biggie.
At least reloading doesn't take like any time at all from what it seems.
Yeah, it's just that you have to jump down the mountain again, exactly. I mean, the biggest time loss that you can get by having to reload a checkpoint is probably at the end of any given fight, because the game doesn't save during a fight, only after. So, you know, if you are down to a last enemy in a big brawl and that one kills you and you have to do the whole encounter again, that of course is an obvious big time loss. Now, obviously, you know, you would want your run to be deathless, but since this is lethal difficulty and basically every hit is a one-shot, yeah, there is probably going to be quite a few deaths along the way. Especially if you're just learning the run for the first time, expect to die a lot. Now, it may not look like it, but all of these fights are actually pretty, well, hard to get through. Unless you're following the choreography that we have, you know, put in place to get through it as fast and quickly and hopefully easily as possible.
Do you mind if I make an announcement real quick?
Go ahead.
We've just activated another poll. This is for Titanfall 2. Spare or kill the MVNR or MRVN, because it wouldn't be a speedrun marathon without more sparing or killing.
If the enemy sees me.
Kill!
Understood. Good luck.
If they're thinking anything else, they think wrong.
Look, I'm that weird guy who will always vote to save the animals.
Well, the horse is dead, so I guess we failed to save the animals. So I guess just go ahead and heck everybody from now on, right? Okay, where are the last few? Up there. Oh hey, you're also alive. Why didn't you get hit by my kunai? Dude. Yeah, okay. Acceptable fight. So there is one enemy group that can respawn here, even though we just killed it in this skirmish. So let's hope that doesn't happen, because it always trips me up a little bit. Nope, it respawned. No idea why these guys around this campfire come back. Sometimes they just do. At least it clumps up these Mongols coming through the gate a little bit tighter, so you can actually hit them with one bomb. Also over there are our allies just coming through the gate in that explosion you just saw.
Let's get a look at the bridge.
So looks like we'll be reunited in just a minute. But first, more explosions! Because what would this game be without explosions? And burning Mongols? So once you kill a certain amount of enemies, you can just go ahead this way. You don't have to kill all of them.
There they are. They brought some friends from Yarikawa.
Ah. I don't have any bombs anymore. Oops.
Study hard. I wouldn't go that far.
Who's still alive?
That was close.
Nobody. Okay.
Fort is ours, my lord.
Made it.
Is everyone alright?
Alright, so not only do we have a new base operations, we are also reunited with all of our allies. So what we need now is a plan. You know, a proper battle plan of how we are supposed to go ahead and attack the last bastion of the Mongols, Port Izumi, on the island. So, let's go ahead and try and find a vantage point from where we can overlook what Port Izumi is like. So this is actually the shortest quest in the whole game. Like in a speedrun, it takes about 3.5 minutes or so. Let's see if we can make that happen. If you're playing this casually, of course, it will obviously take you a little bit longer because, you know, as we'll find out in just a minute here, it is another stealth mission. And you know what we do with stealth missions by now, right? You probably should have paid attention.
Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
Cue the music.
Speaking of things to queue, can I read out some donations real quick?
Go ahead.
We have a $15 donation from yeah, I'm gonna butcher that. I'm just gonna call you Sora. $15. Here's my Canadian Monopoly money to stop the hate. And we have a $5 donation from Anonymous. Thank you everybody for your donations. We are still at $50, $45 for spare kill though.
There's always a risk.
Hmm.
People may suffer even more.
Running low on time to make that go the other way, chat.
Somebody snipe the kill.
We could climb around.
Snipe it. Well, you know, we still have time. Good 20 minutes. So yeah, this is where we actually learn in-game that the Mongols are now gathering all this poison and want to ship it over to the mainland.
We'll scout Port Izumi from the top of the lighthouse.
Right behind you.
So let's now have a look at Port Izumi. This is also one of these instances that Ali mentioned earlier, where you have to go ahead and look at a couple points on the map to investigate them. However, this is one of these where you don't actually have to look at all of them. You only have to look at the two on the right and the two on the left. You do not have to look at the point in the middle.
See how the birds are circling?
Like they're scared of something on its way.
The storm, preparing to fly inland for shelter.
We'll just skip the middle there and now investigate the two on the left. And we are done with this thing.
That bridge has an open sightline to the Mongol fleet.
Imagine what we could do to their ships if we had our own watchers.
And that is the Gathering Storm. That was the whole quest. Oh, 258, huh? Ooh. Trying to remember at what point I cleared this quest the last time. We might be on a bit of a PB pace here. Slightly.
I love peanut butter.
Not quite the PB I was thinking about, but sure, go ahead. Why not? I'll take it.
I'm down for being on peanut butter pace.
Oh yeah. Is that a thing now?
I just thought of that because I have this emote.
There.
It can be.
Uncle reads it.
Peanut butter sandwich.
I'm not letting you leave without a good horse.
Permit me to refine your armor, my lord.
Oh hey, look, we get to pick a new horse.
Give one of these a chance.
Will that horse stay with us the rest of the game? Question mark. Or will it also die?
Vote now on your phones.
Easy there. It's all right. I'm a friend.
What will you name this one?
And everybody voted so hard, this horse caught on fire.
Good choice. Or you get inside your uncle's castle.
I grew up there, and I still remember everything.
It's just kind of cringe how the game has the exact same boilerplate text of "This horse will be with you the entire rest of your journey," and well, spoiler alert, it is true this time. This horse will be fine.
Yeah, well, you know. Second try, second chances, stuff like that. So yeah, story-wise, now that we have our allies, we have our battle plan, but Jin still thinks, we could still use more allies. So what he tries to do here now is infiltrate Castle Shimura yet again and deliver a message to his uncle to try and convince him to say, we still have this common enemy, why don't we kinda at least join forces and try to expunge the Mongols from the island. So we have now to infiltrate Castle Shimura once more. Fun times. And yes, we will go the exact same path that we did last time.
They won't be watching the cliff face.
See if you can get this. Yes. Got a little bit of a swimming skip here. If you actually use Dance of Wrath into the water and you do that just right, so the momentum carries you a little bit forward, you can make these swimming sections go on a little bit faster than, just jumping into the water normally and swimming there. It's not a huge time save, but, it looks kind of cool.
If I attack the gods, it will prove I'm the monster they think I am.
Fun fact, if you kill anybody around here, it's an instant game over, and you have to start again. So don't do that. Instead, just roll. It's faster and safer.
I actually did that in my first playthrough. I killed somebody here who found me, and it actually had me sitting there for a second saying, wait, why? Why can't I? Oh, right. I'm dumb.
You are a monster.
Yeah.
You can't have that. We are slaughtering Mongols by the dozens, but no, you can't kill any of the Japanese people. No. Don't kill samurai. Kill Mongols. I think we're sending some questionable things out there.
Pretty sure we've been doing that the entire run.
Probably.
With our talk of borders and time machines.
Also, fun fact, you can just jump on this rock and then on this rooftop here, you don't have to go through the tower. And then once again, just keep on rolling. Also, fun fact, you are supposed to be not seen, because, you know, this is a stealth mission here. Obviously. However, apparently, nobody inside the castle here got the memo. Because these people very clearly see me, as you can see by the red error indicator there. I am in combat, however, nobody is sounding the alarm to actually fail the mission. So you can just walk by everybody here and deliver your message in peace.
Stealth.
Well, quote-unquote peace. And this takes care of the heart of the Jito, as this mission is so aptly called. So yeah, we are closing in on the final 2 missions of the game. The next one will be Eternal Blue Sky. Let's see about it. Let's get ready for a big old attack on Port Izumi here, shall we?
Did you hydrate? There was a hydrate in chat.
I just hydrated.
Good.
What took you
But I
so
can
hydrate.
hydrate some more in just a second here. Because we actually get a little bit of a break here in just a moment. Because this is another one of these points in the game where you could actually take a little of a breather and, you know, walk around all of Jogaku Temple, talk to all of your allies before the coming battle and stuff like that. And you basically have to wait for Yuna to come to a certain point in the temple to talk to her again to progress the quest. However, she takes her sweet ass time to get there. And there is basically nothing you can do about this. So we will just stand around here and wait for her to come to us. So we get a little bit of a break before the final battle here. So if you have anything to block or donation street or something, go ahead, because Yuna's taking her time.
No, not yet. But chat, this is the last couple minutes. If you want to see his uncle die, this is the time to get those donations in.
One thing I always loved about the merchants is, you know, something you don't see in every game, is when you sell stuff to the merchant, there's little comments he makes like, this is very high quality, I can make good use of this. It's just a tiny little thing, but it makes it sound like he actually wants what he's buying from you, and it's not just, you know, another video game logic TM, and I just really appreciated that.
I mean, the game is just full of these little details, like all over the people in these well, cities or hubs, just, you know, talking among themselves. There's always some kind of gossip going on, like people are gossiping about the true identity of the ghost. Somebody actually think it's Lord Shimura who is the ghost and stuff like that. It really adds to the atmosphere of the game. Alright, and with that, we're gonna skip 4 cutscenes here. And then we are on to our attack on Port Izumi, where Khotun Khan and his fleet of Mongols is holed up. So let's see if we can put a stop to that.
This is it.
Jin.
So all of our allies are here.
Now.
And they will help us in the coming fight.
The Mongols are coming. We'll cut down
Even though
anyone who
you've done the
gets
bare minimum of helping them.
Yep.
Look, he's just that charismatic.
Okay, we'll look straight ahead, so all of the reinforcements will be coming from that direction, because there is another explosive barrel over there, so we can all clump them up around there.
Mongols up there!
Charge them, or they'll pin us down!
Push them back!
Kill them all!
Yeah, I've mentioned the voice actors a few times. I was not previously familiar with Daisuke Tsuji, the voice actor for Jin, before this game, but man, he really did an amazing job in the game. Quite rightly praised and award nominated and all that good stuff.
Ah! Okay, that was that. Only Yuna would come over here now, so we can progress, please.
Our plan worked.
So now that we've taken care of these guys around here, it's now time to attack Port Izumi proper. However, we decide that it's probably best if all of our allies actually frontally attack Port Izumi while we sneak in from the back and try to take care of Khotun Khan, the leader of the Mongols, by ourselves.
Figure out how to find the call.
So let's hope that that works.
That watchtower is perfect. You can see the whole camp from there.
Yeah, nice photo mode.
Pop a smoke bomb for safety. It's just the battle raging on all around us now.
Just have to reach the manor house.
Now I will switch my armor here to the Gosaku's armor, so we're not gonna wear the Sakai armor here. That is because the Gosaku's armor is actually the best armor at breaking the guard of your enemy. Now, the way the battle system in this game works, you mostly, when you're attacking enemies, you see this white bar above their head. And only once you have broken through that can you actually go ahead and damage an enemy's health bar. And that goes doubly so for duels. And Khotun Khan has a massive stagger bar that you have to get through. So we equip Gosaku's armor to go through that a little bit quicker.
I will avenge the people of Tsushima.
Vengeance!
The cutscene that precedes this duel is probably my favorite in the entire game. Especially the line where Jin says, "You will never leave this island." This is so badass.
So I will actually not use 3 Dances of Wrath here, because I need a little bit of my resolve for after this fight.
You're weak.
So that is why I stalled a little bit here, to hit him normally. But then we use a second Dance of Wrath. And that should take care of this fight. So we are not done with Khotun Khan yet. He just retreated down to his boat. So we kind of have to follow him down there now. Alright, and the showdown against Khotun Khan. This is a very technical fight, so let's see how this one goes. First of all, we want to go over here. Get our bow ready, shoot this barrel to take care of these guys. We want to go up here. And basically pest the Khotun Khan with sticky bombs and sword strikes.
And this is a really tough fight, your first playthrough.
Don't forget the bow out again, shoot these barrels, shoot these barrels. Get a bomb, throw it over there. Enter Ghost Stance. Attack Khotun Khan once, twice, 3 times, break his weapon. And since I have another charm equipped that allows me 4 strikes, I will hit him yet again. Then I switch to Kunai, attack him, Kunai, attack, and that is done. That was a very clean fight. I'm happy with that.
Dang, well done.
So is it time for that last decision?
No.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
We still have about 6 minutes left in this one. So yeah, we defeated Khotun Khan. The Mongols are still on the island, however, their morale is shattered. You know, they have lost their leader, they don't know what to do anymore.
Khan is dead.
However, we are still not completely done with this game because, you know, timer is still running, and I said there are 2 last quests. We only done 1, so what could be left here? Well, as you know, will tell us in a moment. Our uncle actually wants to talk to us, so we have one last meeting to go through.
Oh no!
Oh yes!
I can't say. Ally over here voting $10. I'm not saying F him. I'm just saying kill is the correct option. It's now 55 to 50 with kill in the lead.
Yes! Well, guys, I have a couple more minutes to get some, you know, last-minute donations in. If that strikes your fancy.
I thought I was the agent of chaos. Turns out it wasn't me all this time.
But yeah, we will be going back to Omi village, where our uncle wants to meet us. So let's see what he has to say.
In time.
Speaking of which, how quickly can you give me the results of this bid war?
Oh, like as soon as you need it.
Okay. Just so I know when I need to call for that. Because, you know, guys, it's getting close. It's getting really close here.
I'll wait for him on the dock.
So we are now gonna meet our uncle. He will basically tell us, well, the Shogun has disbanded Clan Sakai, which is Jin's clan, so he's not a samurai anymore. He will lose all of his belongings, all of his lands, his house, basically everything for, you know, another samurai clan that is gonna come in soon. So Jin wants to go home and basically say goodbye to his hometown and to the place he grew up with. So let's go ahead and do that.
Will you remain in Chito of Tsushima?
Yes. The Shogun asked me to train his warriors to fight the Mongols.
Good. They won't give up until they've conquered all of Japan.
I will spend what years I have left ensuring they fail. A task I hoped we would face together, as father and son.
There's a little bit of walkie-talkie section here once again.
Yes.
Quickly making our way over here.
Looks like he could use a push.
Here, let us help you.
Helping this guy out.
Nonsense.
You can't do it alone.
You're much too kind.
And this guy basically tells us, oh, the ghost has an army now. They are all, you know, gathering in the north, and they will sail to the homeland of the Mongols with a storm at their back to, you know, basically do the same to the Mongols that they did to us. And Jin is like, hey, wait, I don't have an army. What the hell is going on here? And, you know, his tale is basically spreading, and Lord Shimura and the Shogun are concerned because Jin has taught the people to defy their masters, their samurai, and that is why the ghost will very soon be labeled as an outlaw and be hunted by the samurai.
I won't let them do that. They'll listen to me.
You openly defied me, Jin. My most trusted warrior.
And
taught our people to disobey their leaders.
what Lord Shimura will actually disclose with us in just a moment is that he himself has been sent by the Shogun to, well, bring him Jin's head.
My family's cemetery.
So once I make my way down these stairs and come down to this plateau, could you go ahead and close the bid wall, please? So you have about a few seconds, guys, for donations. And with that, what would be the ending?
It was a good fight, but kill one.
All right, then it's gonna be a PB, right? Well, let's just hope that I actually select the correct ending this time, because during the last marathon, Kill also won, but I accidentally selected Spare at the end, so that was a big of a mistake.
Just a little bit of mistake.
Yeah, one small detail to the plot that makes the kill ending come across as the correct one, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's mentioned in a cutscene that gets skipped. Shimura at one point wants to adopt Jin and be his, father and bring him into his own clan.
Yes. He very much did so.
I don't want to hurt you.
Good start there, Uncle. Oh god. I did not pay attention there.
I can't fear the Shogun.
Oh, jeez. Louise.
I can't fear the Shogun. The wounds you dealt my spirit will never heal.
Killing me will only make them worse.
I can't fear the Shogun.
You want revenge.
Alright, get ready on time.
My revenge. This is not. This is not my revenge. It is my blood.
And time.
Well done.
And then let's just watch this scene, because it only takes a minute for the ending.
I will make sure.
So your final time was 3 hours, 20 minutes, 13 seconds.
A wise leader.
Let's just watch the scene in silence for a bit. Only takes a minute.
Thank you, son. Find me in the next life.
I will.
It's so good.
And that is Ghost of Tsushima, everybody. Final time was 3 hours, 20 minutes, and what? 13 seconds? Oh well, that is only 30 seconds of my previous PB/world record. So, good run, I want to say.
Yeah, very well done. Good.
There was a lot of things we hadn't seen before, but here we are.
Yeah, I guess a couple shoutouts. Thank you so much for the organizers for having us. This is a wonderful cause, and we are very happy to be here with this game. Thanks so much for Ali for providing commentary for me.
Thank you. I'm not sure what I really added, but thank you.
Oh, it definitely did. I'm always happy if I don't have to do this alone here. Thank you so much also for the speedrun community of the game.
I like your new home.
As we said before, it's a very small community with not a lot of runners. So, if you feel obliged to give this game a try, go ahead, go to speedrun.com, go to Tsushima, join the Discord. We are happy to help you out if you want to learn this one. Keep in mind that there are a lot of different categories, some of which are only a couple minutes long if you want to tackle the multiplayer part of this game. So there's somebody there for basically everybody of every time frame that can manage. And yeah, Ali, do you have anything to add or shout out to yourself?
No, I'm just along for the ride, basically.
All right. I guess with that, our work here is done. Good luck to the other runners coming still up. You know, they will still have a couple days to go with more money to raise. So, can we get to that 10,000, please? Maybe? You know, guys, a little bit generous here. It's a good
Yeah,
cause.
I think Pikmin was next. Best of luck to that runner.
Yeah. I mean, I will basically just start waving here, I guess, and until we're out.
Alrighty, everybody, that was Ghost of Tsushima. Great run, great run. Really enjoyed being there.